so many big games before. But will this crowd have an effect on the outcome tonight, Mike?
It will definitely have an effect, and it will definitely have effect on number 12, Danny Woodson. He won't be able to automatically check out of bad plays because of this crowd noise. So let's watch and see what effect it has on everybody else.
I think somebody's coming to the stadium floor, and here comes the Tide. And welcome to the Florida Gators of 1991. ESPN's presentation of CFA football, Alabama versus Florida, is brought to you by Thrifty Car Rental. Because it's your money, call 1-800-for-CARS or your travel consultant.
Welcome back to a fired-up Florida field. Now, I'll tell you what, the Gators sell more than 70,000 season tickets every year, and that's more than any pro, college, any team in sports, period. Now, this new 10,000-seat area has fully enclosed Florida Field, and the result is one of the loudest, most exhilarating stadiums in college football. And I'll tell you what, Ron, in about 20 seconds, all the noise from up here is going down there, and that's going to become either one big help or one big hurt.
This has always been an extremely loud stadium, but now that that end of the stadium to the north has been closed in, it's almost like the sound gets in here and it bounces back and forth. The series history. They have played but 23 times. Florida 0-6 versus Alabama here. Also, remember they lost twice in Jacksonville, so the Crimson Tide 8-0 in the state of Florida. But last year, Gators won it. That game was at Tuscaloosa. Rain, if you saw the tees earlier this afternoon, rain started at just after 5 o'clock. As you look at Cole, who is teeing the ball up at the 35. It subsided after some sprinkles of about 20 minutes, and then the rains came hard for about an hour. But this field, which is natural turf, it was converted back to natural turf 2 years ago, drains extremely well, and Mike will be very anxious to see what kind of slippage, if any, we get from the teams. 81, Monty Duncan. Harrison Houston was 84. You looked at a moment ago. Both teams 1-0. The opener of the Southeastern Conference for two teams that have figured to be very much in the hunt. Florida, a preseason pick by many, and Alabama picked anywhere from 3 to 5 in the preseason prognostications in the Southeastern Conference. From the 3. Hit down hard at the 17-yard line. And now for the Energizer starting lineups for the Florida Gators. The SEC Player of the Year, Shane Matthews. He's only a junior. He'll direct the attack. Two very good running backs. The wide receivers, very good and very active. Trey Everett is the man to watch. Anybody named Ezekiel has to be fast. And up front of the offensive line, Cal Dixon, an All-American, also an academic All-American. Dexter McNabb, and the big fullback will take it forward for 4 yards. And Derek Oden, the right inside linebacker, is there to make the hit. Let's check the lineups defensively for the Crimson Tide. Robert Stewart has been having lower back problems. They have to have him at 100% tonight. John Sullins opened up with an interception and 9 tackles last week. He's a very good one. And in the secondary, keep an eye on McMillan. Excellent at man-to-man coverage. Matthews with a long count, and the left guard, Ismail, came out of his stance, or Mark White. So rather than the gain of 3, it will be erased. It looks like White is the one who moved.
Ron, a key for Florida.
Before the ball is snapped, we have a
is on first down. Must pick up 4 yards or more to try to keep Alabama out of nickel and dime schemes that they do so well under defensive coordinator Bill Oliver.
Well, you talked off the top of the telecast of the importance of first down. Pressure up the middle as they set the screen. Matthews will be knocked down at the 1-yard line. Stewart came raging through, and I think we know very quickly the situation with his back. That is a loss of 14 and very close to a safety.
When you watch this replay, here's the matchup. Robert Stewart just gets right by him. He probably there was supposed to be some help because it was a screen, but Alabama brought in 6 defensive backs on that play. It was a screen setup. Robert Stewart, there was just a 3-man rush. Had to be a broken assignment.
So it is third down. And for the Gators, they need the 27 and a half. Eric Rett, last year's leading rusher in the Southeastern Conference, will bring it out to the 7-yard line. And what he did was give the punter 15 yards to line up without standing at the back of the end zone line. Shane Edge will come in to kick. He punted 5 times last week for an average of 45.2. His longest, 62, and right now he needs his longest. As you look at a young fella that is going to be as exciting as anyone in the Southeast for a while, David Palmer.
Young freshman who was really exciting last week in the opening game versus Temple.
Light pressure as the marker is down. Kick is not good. Off the side of his foot. Takes a Florida bounce. And the tackle will be made on Palmer at midfield. And let's check the flag back at the line of scrimmage. It's a 42-yard punt and a loss of 1 on the return. Keep an eye on Saran Stacy, number 27. He will open at tailback. Had a great game last week, 95 yards. And in fact, he threw a touchdown to this man, Prince Wimbley, who also is rehabbing from knee surgery. And up front on that offensive line, Matt Hamilton. On a line that is very young, and they are very small. Toby Shields, the center, only weighs 250 pounds. Jimmy Harper, one of the veteran officials and a very good one in the Southeastern Conference, our referee tonight. And you can hear from his call, Florida with only 6 men at the line of scrimmage. Bama refused.
Florida is an 8-man defensive front. I'll explain it as we go along, but it's very difficult to run against the 8-man front.
Woodson under some heavy heat, and they meet behind the line of scrimmage. Tony McCoy, number 71, is there, and the pressure led by Mike Bradley. Here are the starters for the Gators tonight on defense. He's an All-American, All-Academic. Brad Culpepper, 3rd generation Florida Gator athlete. Ephesians Bartley, you remember the name well. Last year he was the Bandit. Now they have moved him to Gatorback. And Larry Kennedy in the secondary, part of a veteran group. Started off at Ohio State, Prop 48, transferred to Florida. Saran Stacy, first carry of the night, he will lose 1. Brad Culpepper, the all-everything we were just talking about. And already, we're seeing 2 awfully good defenses.
Ron, the outside linebackers, which we'll talk about in a little bit, the way Florida plays them, now that they have Alabama in a 3rd long situation, they'll be able to move out and play like defensive backs. It's really, if the 8-man front is really on and gets a beat on you offensively, they can do so many things. I look for him to try to pressure Danny Woodson a lot tonight.
It is third down. The line to make just inside the Florida 40. Gene Stallings looks on. Marker is down. The screen pass is overthrown. Too much pressure from McCoy, and now Bama will have to punt in return. Procedure call. Culpepper says no, we will decline the penalty. And now the kick return team comes in.
For Alabama, Alabama to have a shot. This is going to be a defensive football game because both defenses are strong, but Alabama has to find a way to run the football. That way may be the option, which they didn't run last week, but to try to put some pressure and read a defensive lineman and try to get Saran Stacy on the corner through the option.
Tank Williamson is standing back deep. He will be kicking to Monty Duncan as the Gators have the return on. Duncan will let it bounce, and he will not have a chance on a return. And look at this one. It is going dead inside the 7 at the 6.5 yard line. So 2 excellent defensive stands, and we'll take a break with 11:35 left in the opening period. No score.
ESPN's presentation of CFA football, Alabama versus Florida, is brought to you by Isuzu. For features, styling, and price, there's no comparison.
Welcome back to Florida Field. Alabama 3 plays 5 yards. Florida 3 plays 6 yards. And the Gators do not have real good field position to open it up as they go with the rep. Great second and third effort. He'll fight his way out to the 9. Last year, 845 yards rushing. He was the leading ball carrier in the Southeastern Conference. And now, Mike, talk about the situation of first down.
First down is very important for Florida because if they're held and have 2nd and 7 or 2nd and 8 like they have right now, it gives Alabama so many opportunities to do so many things to Steve Spurrier's offense.
A moment ago, the play that almost cost them a safety. They tried to set up the screen, and someone had grabbed the running back coming through. Very good defense by Bama. Matthews going to put it up on top. He is got it complete. Trey Everett down at the 35 by Langham.
Florida backed up. Steve Spurrier. Alabama did not bring the nickel back in on this play. They're just going to throw the deep route to Trey Everett. He just runs by the free safety. An excellent throw by Shane Matthews. He almost broke this for the touchdown. 56 yards.
Well, that's one way to get out of the hole quickly. Matthews this time with the 3-step drop, and that one incomplete. Alonzo Sullivan, a senior from Largo, Florida, was the man that he was looking for.
Ron, here comes the 2 extra defensive backs in now. Alabama on that 2nd and 8 stayed with their regular defense. Steve Spurrier then checked off and went to the pass. Now you have 6 defensive backs on the field for Alabama. They'll match up with the running backs. The running backs for Florida are excellent pass receivers. They run good routes, and they're always involved in the passing game.
Levansky Hall and Charles Gardner are the 2 extra backs that Mike was talking about. We just checked in. Matthews trying to get away from Stewart, and he will be roughed out of bounds by Stewart. Oh, I'll tell you, for a big guy, there is a reason that he runs that well, though. When he came to Alabama, he was, in fact, a running back. He has run a 4.640. Now he is 6 feet, just a little over, and weighs 270 pounds.
Probably when they brought him to school, they gave him number 34 and then didn't want to take it away from him because he is such an outstanding player. When you play 6 defensive backs, as Alabama did, there wasn't much open last play for Shane Matthews.
3rd down. The line to make the 25. Matthews with an audible. Pressure up the middle. Ball is intercepted at the 14-yard line. That's George Teague, and he will be tackled by Shane Matthews at the 40-yard line. Mark White is injured on the play. There are 2 flags down at the 42, but Alabama is indicating it is against the Gators.
Ron, watch this defensive backfield for Alabama. 6 defensive backs in the game. First down may become the best throwing down that Florida has. Here's Shane Matthews throwing the football up the field. His receiver fell down. Good interception by George Teague. But again, Florida must do a better job on first down. That's their key down. Alabama has done such a great job with the nickel and dime coverage that Bill Oliver, the defensive coordinator, you see all the DBs running around there in the secondary. But if you do get good yardage on first down, you keep those DBs on the sideline with Coach Stallings.
We will check and make sure, as you look at Teague with the interception, that Matthews is okay because he had to come over and make a touchdown-saving tackle following the penalty. Bama with the ball at the 40-39. Woodson hit as he throws, incomplete. It hit about 4 yards short. Prince Wembley is who he wanted. Tim Pauk, number 99, a senior All-Southeastern Conference last year out of Miami, was the man making the play defensively.
Watch Tim Pauk, number 99, on a blitz coming after Danny Woodson. The thing about the 8-man front, they can pressure you. You can't block them unless you go to a 2 tight end system. So he was going to try to throw the quick hitch pattern to the wide receiver.
Pauk came close to getting a penalty on that play as Stacy takes the pitch and on second down is in the vicinity of the 32. Del Spear comes up to make the defensive play. Seconds left in this opening quarter. Alabama with the deepest penetration for them in the night as Stacy. Markers go down and he has the first down at the 29. Culpepper is there defensively.
Last year, Ron, at the game at Alabama ran to their weak side against Florida with some success.
Illegal formation, offense, 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
Jimmy Harper calls procedure. And Mike, I think between jitters and the noise of the crowd, I think both teams are bothered by the atmosphere right now.
It's that kind of start right now. Gene Stallings knows his defense must carry his team in the early part of the schedule till his offense matures. They're a young offensive team. Danny Woodson's an inexperienced quarterback. I look for Florida at this point with this many yards to go for first down, just to heat him up every time they can with a blitz.
Carlton Miles comes out. Ed Robinson replaces him at inside linebacker, number 41. Flag goes down, and 5 more yards will be stepped off. Boy, the chatter is already going on. That time it was Mike Brandon.
Dead ball, illegal movement, offensive line.
Procedure against Alabama. And the Tide a moment ago appeared to have the first down. And right now, they have lost a total of about 13.5 yards.
The offensive tackle, the right side, they moved John Stevenson's a freshman, a true freshman.
Woodson slips a bit, now he's got big running room. Has 5, 10, and counted off at 13 and now 15 yards. He got breaded by Tim Pauk, but that is enough for the Bama first down.
Florida with just a 4-man rush on this play. This is what Danny Woodson, such a good athlete. You see him drop back to pass. The pressure's coming. He almost fell down. Now Florida's in such deep drops with their linebackers, and he's such a good athlete, he's able to pick up the first down.
I mean, Pauk almost knocked him out of Alachua County. What a great effort. Kept himself from falling. Saran Stacy will take it for 3 to the 25. And Adrian Karsten is down on the sideline. Here's an update on Shane Matthews.
Ron, here is the word on Shane Matthews. Just shaken up trying to make the tackle on his own interception. Says he was just mad. He forgot to put his head up when he was making the tackle. But at 6'3", 190, he says he was not going to let that man get in the end zone.
Well, as we talked to him yesterday, he is a coach's son, and he knows good and well that after throwing the interception, he'd already messed up once. He couldn't miss the tackle to mess up twice. The ball is on the ground. Picked up by Stacy. Now he loses it, and it's recovered by Mike Brandon of Florida. Oh, what an error by the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Ron, they had a play also. They were going to run the option to the right side. Danny Woodson just fumbled the football. Here you see him with Mal Moore. Here's the start of the option. Pulls it out, just dropped the football. Fran Stacy tried to pick it up, but Mike Brandon from Florida recovered. There's a second look. Just didn't get it out clean after the fake.
I think Paulk, and we may have time to go back and check it, I think Paulk touched the ball, knocked it out of his hand, Mike, in Woodson's defense. This is Rhett. Oh, does he get popped? As these two defensive units have really been putting some headgears on the ball carrier. That time it was Sullins along with Jeremy Nunley. And when Nunley comes in normally, that means that Alabama has gone to a four-man rush, doesn't it?
It does. Usually they'll have somebody on the center, but when Nunley comes in the ball game, they'll slide it and play a four-man line to try to give Florida as many looks up front as they can.
Eric Rhett is a single running back. Gets the pitch. Blocking is not there, and let's go to Tim Brando and get an update of what's happening tonight in other college football. Timmy.
Ron, Stanford trying to rebound from their loss to Washington, leading 17-0 before Arizona's George Malulu hits Chuck Levy 65 yards on the sideline route, turns it into a big play. It is now 17-7 in the second quarter. We'll keep you posted throughout the night and, of course, at halftime.
17-7, and supposedly Stanford was all banged up for that one. Florida goes to a shotgun formation. Matthews incomplete, and Dexter McNabb wants a flag. There's not going to be one. Number 11, Hall, was all over him, and Robert Stewart was coming up the middle with the pressure.
You talk about an odd play. Alabama had 13 men on the field. They brought their two defensive backs on late. They were trying to get off. Shane Matthews was trying to get the snap quicker to try to catch him with 12 men on the field. That's why the ball went over his head.
David Palmer is back deep. Edge, his first kick of the night, good for 42 yards. They come after him. This is an end over end, and Palmer should have a chance to return. Now takes an Alabama bounce, and they will touch it dead at the 27. No score. Let's take a break. 6:17 left in this opening quarter. Well, the celebration started yesterday, and actually for some they started coming in their mobile homes 2 days ago, and they haven't stopped cheering since they got here, whether they're wearing crimson or whether they're wearing blue and orange. Woodson with the pitch to Stacy. Missed tackle at the line of scrimmage, and he almost breaks it out, and now he does. At the 45-yard line, and Stacy goes into the bench on the near sideline. Harvey Thomas was there defensively.
He went right into the Gatorade. Alabama went to an unbalanced line. Caught Florida. Florida did not move over. Here's the toss sweep to Saran Stacy. Look at this cut. Talk about the Alabama fans. They're happy he's back healthy. Also look at Harvey Thomas, 6'4", 231, defensive end, running him down.
And Stacy is still down.
Here you'll see from the end zone. See the unbalanced line, only two linemen to the left. Florida did not move over. Here's the cut back. Ran right out of a tackle, and then Harvey Thomas knocks him out of bounds. Little extra push. But they avoided the flag.
Carlton Miles is the man who was sitting right in the hold, number 31, and he missed the tackle. And as you might imagine, Coach Stallings is not very happy over the fact that a flag was not thrown. Derek Lassick, a junior from Haverstraw, New York, number 25, comes in at tailback. Pitch goes to him. Virtually the same play, and he has the first down. A gain of 10 as Carlton Miles is called on to make the tackle. And an Alabama offensive line that had struggled a little bit last week looks very good right now, Mike.
The exact same play, the exact same formation, unbalanced line. You get the extra blocker to the point of attack. Florida will make an adjustment and try to stop that by moving their defense over one man.
Martin Houston is in the game at fullback. He's replacing Kevin Turner. Martin is a junior from Center, Alabama, 5'10", 235 pounds. breaks off one, tries to scramble out of another, and on two very impressive carries, he is down to the Florida 37-yard line. Carlton Miles again has to make the tackle.
Here you see Derek Lassie going just a sprint draw play. Lead blocker Kevin Turner opens up, missed tackle, picks up 7 yards. Ron, I really believe Florida just is caught a little bit right now defensively. The two plays that they ran the unbalanced line has thrown them off a little.
You know what? Saran Stacy is back in the ballgame. My impression, though, after those two runs, is Lassick right now is a step quicker than Saran Stacy. He hit the hole quicker, Mike.
You may be right. Saran Stacy is such a powerful runner. He ran right out of the tackle. Another play here, they ran the unbalanced line, but they put it on the left side this time. Saran Stacy, outstanding player, Ron.
So it's going to be a third down, and they need to cross the 34-yard line of Florida to continue this drive and keep it alive. And in fact, if they don't, they're going to wind up having to punt, because that would be 50-plus on a field goal attempt.
What has to drive the offensive coach is crazy. They have a nice drive going, and they drop the snap from center. They just make a lot of mistakes because of youth.
And now a timeout has been called by Alabama, so we'll take it with them. 4:32 left in this opening quarter, and a big third down for the Tide is coming up.
Letterman's Call barbecue is scheduled for the Kentucky game to begin 1.5 hours prior to kickoff of the final.
We are back. Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, and Adrian Karsten from newly remodeled Florida Field. And we are awaiting what is supposed to be a record crowd tonight in excess of 85,000. We have seen quite a ball game so far. If you enjoy defense, Bama 1 of 2 on third down conversions. Woodson rolls it, gets by a tackle, has a man open, and it's thrown out of bounds. Finkley is the man he wanted. And the flag is down at the 39.
Defensive team.
Wow.
Break for Alabama. They ran the sprint out pass to the formation side. Danny Woodson would have been better off just keeping that ball and trying to pick up the first down running. They had good coverage on Donnie Finkley. But now they're in great shape.
Offsides against the defense. And that is going to be very close to, if not giving Alabama the first down. The co-defending national champion Georgia Tech takes on Virginia. Live college football Thursday night at 8 o'clock.
Third down, offside, defense.
That's this coming Thursday night. Georgia Tech and Virginia. Right here on ESPN.
It'll be a great play to run the option on third real short with Danny Woodson to try to put the ball in his hands again. Either that or give it to Saran Stacy.
Straight ahead with the carry. The ball came loose, and Florida is saying they got it. Tony McCoy is down at the bottom of that pile. And from where that has been marked, Mikey's not going to have it.
I think Gene Stallings on the road has to go for this. It's not a field goal situation. Must get this first down with this young team offensively.
Field goal attempt would be 52 yards.
Probably the same play.
They give it to Stacy. He's not going to have it. They will mark him shy of the 35. Brad Culpepper.
Took the ball off the line of scrimmage, gave it to Saran Stacy. Brad Culpepper made penetration, was able to make the play in the backfield. Gene Stallings was just telling Danny Woodson, settle down. You know, we're dropping the ball too much on the exchange. We're not as crisp as we need to be.
So Alabama has had two wonderful opportunities and they've let both of them go astray. One on a fumble. Pass over the middle, complete to Terrell Jackson, his tight end. That's going to be good for about 7.5, maybe 8 yards, as McMillan is there to make the tackle. And Jackson, an interesting story. He is converted from a fullback. In fact, the backup tight end, Charlie Dean, was a linebacker and a fullback before they moved him to tight end.
Ron, I like that call on first down because that's the time to throw the football, and play action's the way to do it because you hold the linebackers and you slow down the rush with the play action pass.
That very speedy Alabama defense is there. George Teague, he already has an interception tonight, and he headed off that play right there, but not before Florida got the first down.
Big first down. Need to get something started offensively. Their defense is playing well. They've had poor field position defensively, and they've responded by holding Alabama. Alabama's made some mistakes to help them. First down again, good play action pass down.
Matthews on the play action all the time in the world. Gets it away, and it is tipped, and it is intercepted again. Number 1, Stacey Harrison. And finally will be knocked out of bounds. That is Ismail and Everett who make the tackle across the 40.
I was watching Steve Spurrier. He threw his hands up in the air. He's frustrated because he felt he had some open receivers and the ball was just thrown poorly, too late. Most of the times when interceptions occur, they occur when you start to scramble and you're trying to find somebody down the field.
During the run by Clippin, White team, White's ball, 1st and 10.
Here's the defensive backfield of Alabama, just funneling everything inside. The play is open coming across the middle, but Shane Matthews takes a little bit longer, forces the ball in, it's tipped, and there's the interception.
But there's your clip right there. 56 White makes the hit from behind, and that's the reason for the penalty. That's Derek Oden who made the push from behind. And the numbers on Shane Matthews right now, 2 of 6 with 2 interceptions for 66 yards. Woodson, he just throws it away. Really had no choice. He was being destroyed as Pauk, number 99, and 98 Harvey Thomas were just making a sandwich out of him.
You have to feel for Danny Woodson. The pressure's coming from the outside. Myrick Anderson, watch this. He gets a little piece of it, and then inside pressure comes also. He didn't really even have a chance to set up.
Very dangerous to even let the ball go. No score if you just joined us. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left to play, first period. Turner with the handoff, the first man through, close to the 20-yard line, and it will now be 3rd down. And the line to make for Alabama is the 25. McCoy defensively.
It's interesting when you coach and you have a young quarterback, and as I say, Danny Woodson is a senior, but very limited experience. He's 6'3", 220, outstanding athlete from Mobile, Alabama. But you're limited in this kind of stadium because of the noise and trying to change some plays, and now Moore, the offensive coordinator, just trying to settle him down.
Alabama 1 of 3 on 3rd down conversions. Woodson drills it, has it complete at the 35-yard line. Good for the first down. And he put that one right on the money to Prince Wimbley.
Danny Woodson did a great job of staying in the pocket here. Here you see him set up. He's going to throw the curl route to Prince Wimbley. You'll see him come into the screen right here. Florida did not pressure that time. They went back and played good zone defense. Curl was there. Good first down. A good throw by Danny Woodson.
About to go under 1 minute in this opening quarter. Sharon Stacy, great sidestep, makes another good move. And Myrick Anderson finally will make the hit on him, but not before he has gained 9 yards.
Boy, Sharon Stacy does a nice job of reading the blocks of his offensive line. Here he gets the ball in the sprint draw. There's the first cut because Florida had penetration. Spins. Finally, the tackle's made. Pretty good gain.
Barger with a really good block on the play. You could see number 62 that he made the hard cutoff of. Barger, a sophomore out of Birmingham. Woodson wants his wide receiver to move to the other side. They're going to have to call timeout. There was only 3 seconds left on the 25-second clock, and you can see the offensive unit, along with Gene Stallings, putting their head in their hand.
Sometimes you just try to get out what you can get out. Again, when you've got a starting freshman tackle, John Stevenson, you got a freshman wide receiver in there, David Palmer, you got an inexperienced quarterback. Again, you're just trying to do what you do best, not make any big mistakes because your defense is so strong.
Well, Alabama has had 2 great opportunities as you look at the defensive rankings for 1990. Clemson leading the nation, then Ball State. Alabama number 3. And you know, we should make mention Central Michigan, who knocked off Michigan State today. They were number 4 in the nation. They won the MAC last year. So for people that are saying, how in the world did that happen? It won because Central Michigan has some pretty doggone good players.
Well, Ron, there's a key in football. If you can run the football, you have a chance to win. If you can stop the run, you have a chance to win. And your chances just keep increasing because of the ability to stop and be able to run the football. Central Michigan, that does not surprise me today.
You know something else? We all get caught up in a thing of Florida and their offense. They have been in the top 5 in defense for the past 3 years. They play some good stuff themselves. Ball on the ground and has been recovered by Culpepper. Mike, did he fumble it from the snap? I lost it.
I think he pulled out too fast. There's Mike Solari, the offensive. He pulled out too fast and fumbled the football. Didn't get the snap.
Well, you want...
What he's trying to say to him is that as I watched him trying to show his hand there, he said the ball hit too high on my hand.
It just hopped right out of there. And as the guard started to move, as usual, what happens, it get kicked around a little bit. That is 3 fumbles for Alabama tonight. They have lost 2. Eric Rett, straight up the middle, gets hammered as he gets in the vicinity of the 42-yard line. Eric from Pembroke Pines, Florida. John Sullins is there to make the stop. 6 carries now for only 23 yards for Rett. And an Alabama player is shaken up as we come to the close of the first quarter. So let's take a break. No score at the end of the first 15 minutes. We'll be right back. Well, we just talked about defense toward the end of that quarter, and both defenses in that first 15 minutes played extremely good football. But Florida with a good opportunity now from the 42. Matthews with the screen has to throw it away, and he got knocked all the way back to the 35-yard line as John Copeland was coming through. Here's Oden. He was injured just a moment ago. Derek Oden, a junior from Tuscaloosa, the second leading tackler on this team in 1990. Mike, you talk about even. We have no score. 76 total yards for each team in the opening quarter.
Great defensive effort by both defenses.
Matthews incomplete on the comeback. Sullivan couldn't hold on. Langham played him tough.
You know, in coaching, sometimes you get matchups. Bill Oliver, the defensive coordinators, went against Steve Spurrier when Steve was at Duke. Bill Oliver is the coordinator at Clemson. Then they went to USFL together. Steve Spurrier was at Tampa. Bill Oliver is at Memphis, and now they go against each other, Alabama and Florida. And Bill Oliver's had success.
Edge's kick hanging. will bound at the 5 and goes into the end zone. 42 yards in the kick, and Alabama will get it at the 20-yard line. Well, don't forget baseball. This is what the pennant chase looks like right now. Boston 4.5 behind Toronto, then Detroit 6 off the pace. Two of baseball's best hitters slug it out with the Boston Red Sox. Pay a visit to the house that Ruth built. Don Mattingly and Boggs among the AL batting leaders. Boggs trying to win his 6th batting title. His Red Sox are in the chase for that East flag. Saran Stacy tries to get to the outside, turns the corner, has 5 and then 6. As Will White, who did not start the ball game tonight, he is an All-American at free safety, but had injured an ankle, is now in the ball game, number 2.
That's why Saran Stacy, Will White makes the tackle on Saran Stacy. That's why he's a great back. He turned a bad play into a 6-yard gain because he was able to skate outside with his speed and outdistance the contained man.
Stacy again looks for some running room, has 1, then 2. Culpepper, you could see him along with 99, Tim Paul. 8 carries now for 40 yards for Stacy.
Well, this is a great chess match, coaches-wise. Both coaches trying to milk away to get in the end zone against 2 really good defenses. I mean, both these defenses are playing well. They're playing tough, strong defense.
So if you just joined us, here's the situation. 14 minutes left to play until halftime. It is 3rd down, Alabama. The ball resting at their own 26. They need the 30. Woodson's pass incomplete. He wasn't even close to Derek Warren, his junior tight end, and a flag is down in the backfield at the 20.
They brought 8 people on that blitz on Danny Woodson in a passing situation.
Have a face mask, defensive, unintentional, 5 yards. It is not an automatic first down.
It is not an automatic first down.
That's a 3-step drop by Danny Woodson. And still the pressure almost got to him.
You could see the player come by. The 5-yard is incidental, does not carry the first down unless it has enough yardage to move the sticks, and that's what happened.
Right now, Ron, if you're coaching this ball game, you're starting to figure we got to force a turnover. Florida's offense has to force another turnover, and if you're the other side of the field, you don't want to beat yourself with a mistake, but you want a big play. You need a big play.
Woodson with play action now will run it, and he pays the price. That's Paul. And let's go to Adrian Carson for another update. Adrian.
Ron, thank you very much. 2 problems when Alabama has the ball. The center is complaining about when he moves the ball. We had that hour-long downpour before the game. The ball is getting slick. They can't handle it between the center snap and the quarterback handoff. Secondly, it's getting very loud down in this closed end with the new 10,000 seats. The offensive linemen, when Florida fills the gap, cannot hear the call between each other, therefore not making the proper block.
And that's so important. People don't even realize the line calls. To the near side is Lassick. He will turn the corner and dives for the first down. And oh, did he get a good spot. He is going to be marked out at around the 42-yard line. Carlton Miles was in pursuit.
They went to the unbalanced line again. Every time they went to the unbalanced line, they ran the toss sweep and picked up good yardage. First 2 times they ran it, they cut up inside and tried to cut back against the grain where everybody was running. On that particular play, they got Derek Lassick outside.
So for Alabama, they move the chains again and now improve that field position out to the 42. And you look at the rushing yardage so far. Florida, a very good running football team, only 10 total yards. Roosevelt Patterson, number 77, he was a huge sophomore at 6'3", 290. I think you could see him come out of his stance.
Ron, the reason they're having success with the unbalanced line.
Dead ball, false start, offense.
When you play against an 8-man front team, it's balanced. There's 4 on one side, 4 on the other. When you move to an unbalanced line, you pick up the extra blocker to that side, and that's what Alabama's doing so effectively right now. Now, Florida eventually will move over one man to compensate for that.
Woodson again with play action. Over the middle, has a man wide open, and I'm telling you, Warren had the ball thrown behind him. You could see how open he was.
Woodson pass intended for Warren, incomplete.
Danny Woodson on the move. He never really set his feet and throws behind Derek Warren. Could have set his feet there, taken a little bit longer. He may have been able to deliver the ball to Derek Warren.
Mike Woodson is only 1 of 5. And on the other side of the line, Florida's quarterback is only 2 completions, so 3 between these 2 quarterbacks.
Credit to defense. Credit to defense. Both defenses outstanding.
Woodson, that's a draw. Has 5, has 10, and then he just goes into a burrow. And a pretty good thing, as he was about to lose it all. Culpepper is there, along with Miles. And we might explain, you have seen number 26, Myrick Anderson, in on a number of plays tonight. He is replacing Monty Groh, who we were given the word just prior to kickoff tonight that Monty Groh, a junior from Inverness, had been suspended for tonight's ball game for violation of team rules. That was the only explanation that was given by Florida.
Where that hurts you is that Myrick Anderson didn't get a lot of work on defense this week, but he has played well in the first quarter.
3rd down. They need the Florida 48. It is complete for the first down. It's Wembley at the 47-yard line.
Woodson's pass complete to Wembley.
Woodson had Brandon and also Fee Bartley coming all over him.
That tells you what a good athlete Danny Woodson is. Under pressure, he was backing up when he threw the football. He didn't get any of his legs or hips underneath him. It was all arm to avoid the blitz.
McCoy comes back into the lineup, number 71 for the Florida Gators. Very good pass rush from him. Alabama 4.5 on first down. Florida, you can see 1.5 for them as the pitch comes to Stacy, loses the ball, and Florida has recovered. Ed Robinson makes the recovery, and it was Timmy Falk, and that's 4 fumbles for Alabama. They have lost 3. Wow.
If you're Gene Stallings, just makes you sick to your stomach. You just see all the turnovers, your offense. You're moving, but you just can't sustain a drive. But where eventually you're going to see the effect of these turnovers is that Florida eventually is going to draw a bead on this Alabama defense. You can't keep putting them out there in bad field position.
The turnover story so far. Yeah, it rained before the game, but don't credit the wet field. Credit some very hard-hitting defenses. Shane Matthews, incomplete. Harrison Houston is who he wanted. Let's look back at that last fumble.
Unbalanced line again. Here's the tackle. As he's coming down, Saran Stacy coming down, the ball just pops out late.
Hawk he almost took it away from him.
You almost thought that ball was going to be blown dead. I think a lot of players around there thought it was blown dead.
Eric Rett, a single setback. Matthews sets and throws this time, and he has Trey Everett. Antonio Lamb is there on the stop, and let's go back to Tim Brando.
Fellas, one of the overlooked games today on a pivotal Saturday is Maryland-Syracuse. Watch the Orangemen trailing 14-7 off the option. Doug Womack will keep it and go into the end zone. It ties the game at 14. I think you'll agree, guys, the winner of this game could easily be playing in a bowl game around the first of the year.
And that's for sure. Maryland with an impressive showing there. 14-14 with Syracuse.
Ron, 7 DBs in the game.
7 defensive backs for Alabama. is complete, and inside the 40-yard line, Sullins will make the tackle on Willie McClendon.
Shane Matthews does an excellent job against the 7 DBs. You see all the defensive backs in this play. Shane Matthews picks out Willie McClendon, his running back, who comes out against the one defensive lineman who's covering him. John Sullins, a linebacker, was on him, so he picked the right choice. He had the running back versus linebacker.
Fake it to McClendon. Receivers just stop moving. It finally throws it, and it's complete at the 30 to Harrison Houston. Good receivers know you can't wind up with your feet in concrete. You got to help your quarterback out.
Watch the coverage of Alabama. They're in with a regular defense now. Just four defensive backs. Still very good coverage. You see over the middle, there's a receiver open, but Shane Matthews pulls it down. Now the receiver should run with Shane Matthews, redirect their routes to try to help him.
Matthews 5 of 12, 2 interceptions, 92 yards. McClendon, get at the line of scrimmage. Good heavens, you could hear the headgears. Michael Rogers, one of the first men to get there, and also Antonio London.
The running backs make this system go for Steve Spurrier. Watch the linebackers here. Michael Rogers reads the draw, just comes up and makes the play on Willie McClendon. What Steve Spurrier likes to do, Ron, is create a mirage. In other words, everybody talks about his pass offense, but if you look at his numbers, he runs just as much as he passes, and he'd rather run, but he wants everybody to think, I throw the football, and he does do it very well, but he also runs the football very, very effectively.
Doesn't miss it by much. Third down. Both tight ends come into the ball game. Terrell Jackson and also 86 Charlie Dean. Straight ahead for the first down. Behind the block of Cal Dixon, the senior out of Merritt Island, Florida.
Steve Spurrier's changed the thinking in the SEC. He's brought a pro passing attack. That's affected the league. A lot of teams are going to a 4-3 defense to try to help against his passing attack. He also brings the 8-man front into the league, which is good run defense. And most of the teams in the SEC are eye-oriented teams, which means they're going to run the football. So he has really made an effect on this league in the short time he's been in it.
Still no score. You can see the clock running down. 9:20 left until halftime. They set the screen for the first time tonight. It works as they go to the tight end, and that will only go for a couple of yards as the ball comes loose at the 27. Antonio London came up to make the hit.
You talk about some crisp tackles tonight. Shane Matthews is going to set the screen. But Antonio London, the linebacker number 55, was reading it all the way. And when the running back cut back inside, Antonio London with a great tackle.
Antonio was ill yesterday. Started to come out on the field to loosen up and had to go back in. He said he was having some stomach problems. But I think all of that has been forgotten. Second down. Florida needs about 8 to the 19-yard line. Matthews going to go long. In the end zone, no flag, and feet got tangled as he wanted Monty Duncan.
Matthews pass attempt for Duncan.
You see the 6 defensive backs of Alabama. Willie McClendon comes loose late, but he doesn't see him and tries to get the ball in the corner. Mark McMillan with good coverage may have tripped up the receiver. Here's another look. Monty Duncan just can't keep his feet.
The feet did get tangled, and it was McMillan who tangled them with him. Most of the times, the official will not throw a flag under those circumstances. Florida fans didn't like it, though. Matthews gets it away. Incomplete. There's Willie McClendon. They tried to get the pass to, and Robert Stewart coming up the middle. But I'll tell you, the screen passes, anything delay has just not worked for Florida tonight, has it?
No, that young man did a great job on coverage. John Sullen, he was the one linebacker left in the defense, and Steve Spurrier tried to put Willie McClendon, number 5, on John Sullen, but John Sullen just did an excellent job of defending that pass. Florida's short one man.
So they will take a timeout. Arden Krzyzewski comes on for the field goal attempt, but we will take a break. We'll be right back to Florida Field.
ESPN's presentation of CFA football, Alabama versus Florida, is brought to you by your Toyota dealers and their quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me.
7:59 left to play until halftime. Arden Krzyzewski now moving forward to attempt a field goal. Let's see where they're going to place it down. It looks like at about the 34-yard line. His longest was 47 against Auburn last year. Plenty of distance. And he's good.
Krzyzewski good from 44 yards.
Krzyzewski, 15 of 19 last year, 23 of 27 on his career. Very consistent. Let's go back to Tim Brando.
Ron, you've got 3 points in your game. I'm going to talk about 3 runs. It was tied at 2 extra innings. Roger McDowell, who got the save last night for the Dodgers, surrenders this one off the wall to Ron Gant. Keith Mitchell will come in and score with the bases loaded, and the Braves now have the lead in the National League West by virtue of a 3-2 victory over the Dodgers. And don't forget, our game coming up tomorrow night, the Yankees and the Red Sox on ESPN. We'll have more on the pennant races and college football coming up at halftime when Lee Corso joins me.
All right, Tim, so they're partying in Atlanta tonight. They were partying last night. They're so excited over that baseball team, and for very good reason. They have started a small celebration of shorts here at Florida Field, 3-0 as you look at Palmer, number 2. David, a freshman from Birmingham. Derek Gossett and Chris Anderson, so back in a triple safety, but it'll come to Palmer at the 9. Great coverage by Florida on the special teams. Pete Archie leads the attack on the special teams and stops him short of the 20. So let's take a break. 7:48 left until halftime. Florida by a field goal. Arden Krzyzewski with a 44-yarder just moments ago, and that is the difference in this ballgame as Florida leads 3-0. Quick out pass complete to Finkley, and he will be stopped at the 30, very close to a 10-yard gain. Lawrence Hatch makes the tackle for Florida.
A lot of teams, when they play against the 8-man front, will do a checkoff system. If the outside linebackers of the 8-man front are crowded, Ron, to stop the run, they'll check off to the quick pass. It's just automatic, so you don't have to worry about crowd noise. If the outside backers are outside on the receivers, then they'll give the ball to Saran Stacy. So it's a run-pass situation when they go to the line of scrimmage, and it just depends where those outside backers are.
You can see what the Florida defense did in 1990 against the rush. Going to be delay of game as Tim Paulk burst through.
Right. The stats first.
Delay of game, offensive team, 5-yard penalty.
Adrian Karsten, what do you have going on the sideline?
I'll tell you what we got going, Ron. Shane Matthews right now is 6 for 15, or 6 of 15 for 94 yards, but it's the 2 interceptions that got him boiling. I just overheard a conversation. He said, Coach Spurrier, these 6 defensive backs are driving me crazy. His quote, they are so darn fast. He takes a look at his primary, secondary receiver. His third receiver is gone by the time he's got a chance to take a look at him again.
Alabama again going on the quick snap count, and Stacy breaks 2, now 3 tackles, and comes out to the 34-yard line. Will White finally stopped it.
What you can look for as Steve Spurrier sits and talks to Shane Matthews, first down to be a passing down because they won't bring the extra defensive backs in. Second and third down, when Gene Stallings brings all the extra DBs in, run, draw, power plays. Just try to keep them off balance. When they have all the DBs in, run the football. When they don't have them in, throw it.
Woodson's pass is caught by Finkley at the 47.
Woodson pass, complete to Finkley.
There's Brad Culpepper, the outstanding defensive lineman. Good block by William Barger, number 62. Good protection. Now, Danny Woodson's making some good plays. Here he hits Donnie Finkley. Again, inexperience. There's no substitute for experience, and Danny Woodson will continue to become better.
Again, they go with the quick count. Look at the fumble in the air. And the ball is down at the 45-yard line. That was Steve Bartley. And I would remind you, just 1 year ago, at the hit he made on LSU's Todd Kinchin right here in this same stadium that just hushed everybody. Wow. 5 Alabama fumbles. They had lost 3. They got that one, and Bartley looks as though he shook himself up with the hit.
Those fumbles cause the coach who's calling plays a lot of problems. Also because he tries to call plays to settle this team down, but he's also trying to call plays to score. But 5 fumbles. Just look where that ball popped all the way out because the defensive man put his helmet on the football.
Good thing that George Wilson was alert, and the big left guard made the recovery. Fee Bartley is still down, and in fact, Mike, this is very close to the part of the field, except it was a little bit closer to the hash mark where he hit Kinchin and knocked him cold last year.
Just saw Ron Zook, the defensive coordinator, on the side of the field. He coached for me at Murray State in Kentucky, at Cincinnati, and at the University of Kansas. He's an outstanding coach. Here's Derek Lassick, and watch the helmet is put right on the football. Derek Lassick never was able to bring that ball in, Ron. Never was able to cover it up. Just happened so fast, the penetration.
Pressure up the middle. Flag goes down and incomplete. See if there's a flag in the secondary. Carlton Miles was coming pell-mell. Woodson is shaken up.
A blitz from the backside. The backside pressure that Ron Zook, the defensive coordinator, sent. They were able to get the helmet on Danny Woodson.
Jay Barker.
Got a blow to the face man. Offensive team 15 yards from spot of foul.
So Alabama really uncorks one at themselves here. They lose their quarterback for at least one play. They grabbed a face mask, which cost them 15, and they got to bring in Jay Barker, who is a freshman out of Trussville, Alabama. He has had a shoulder injury and hasn't had an opportunity to play.
I saw spring practice. Danny Woodson and Jay Barker were even in spring practice. Both got hurt at the same time. Then Danny Woodson was able to get back earlier, and that's why he's the starting quarterback. Jay Barker, young, inexperienced, but a real competitor.
Barker cocked it to throw. Better get out of bounds, and it's Tony McCoy who will catch him from behind, but not before he brings it out to the 42-yard line and picks up 15.
That's like coming in with the bases loaded, 2nd and 31.
But
But the difference is it's also like you got Nolan Ryan on the mound. Look, he almost drops the ball. Look at this. First snap from center. Mike, I don't know if the people at home can appreciate the hitting that is going on in this ball game, but I'll tell you, this is as hard a thumping as I have seen in a long time. In fact, the only game that I can remember was the Steelers against the Oilers back in a game in the Dome in the 70s. Tip and incomplete. Bama will have to punt. Culpepper putting on pressure.
Ron Zook, the defensive coordinator, knows he has a young quarterback in. 3rd and 16 yards. Puts pressure on with a blitz. Here's Culpepper with his hand up. Always those defensive linemen, you like to have their hands up.
Beautiful driving spiral. Duncan back to the 12. Will be stopped at the 16-yard line. 47 yards in the punt and 4 on the return.
Rogers.
Woodson on the sideline. They continue to look at that right wrist. Well, Adrian will get us a report on that shortly. 5:06 left until halftime. And the pitch, they'll bring it back against the grain, and this is Rhett all the way to the 30-yard line. Let's go down to Adrian Karsten. Adrian.
Ron, appears to be the wrist. It's actually his right elbow. Possible hyperextension, definitely bruised. There's also a laceration. With 15 yards on the ground and 50 yards through the air, this is not something he wants to be out of right now, but right now he doesn't have any choice.
Well, he really doesn't. And particularly where they're putting that bandage, if there is a laceration, normally you get stiff, and that's not where you want to have a stiff joint if you're going to play quarterback. They ran the same play. Dawson up the middle, and they're trying to work on Alabama and their quickness and over pursuit right now, Mike.
I'll tell you what they're doing. They went to a 2 tight end offense. Now they're going to balance the Alabama defense up. They're going to get a helmet on every one of those defensive players. They start the pitch one way, and then watch. Here's the 2 tight end set. Here's Eric Rhett. All of a sudden works backside. You think it's a toss front side, and he brings it backside.
Second down at about 3. Now 8 carries, 46 yards for Rhett. Matthews, the quick pass complete to Trey Everett. And he is down at the 42. Our Toyota Leadership Award winners this week are from the University of Alabama, George Wilson. He's a junior from Bessemer. He's a member of the Gamma Beta Phi and Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Also active in speaking to local high schools. And for the University of Florida, it's Cal Dixon. He's a senior from Merritt Island, Florida. He's been named 3 times SEC All-Academic and is a member of the Goodwill Gators. Toyota pleased to donate $1,000 to each player's school general scholarship fund for their academic excellence and also community service. Right up the middle with the carry again into the 48-yard line is Rhett. Antonio Linden, junior from Tullahoma, Tennessee, comes up to make the stop.
I like this move by Steve Spurrier. This is the reason why. You have trouble on first down. You've not been able to get a lot of yards. They're able to bring the nickel and the dime defensive backs in. What do? You go to a 2 tight end offense. You get them spread out. You got 2 wide receivers to throw the football to, and you got a power running game. I think this is an excellent move by Steve Spurrier.
We'll see if he gets points out of it. On a 2nd and 5. Again, the short drop, and they hit Trey Everett as the corner is playing him a little soft, and he will pick up the first down +5.
They have to play it that way, Ron, because of the 2 tight end offense. They need help in there against the run. That's why you're going to be one-on-one on the outside. Now this, I'm sure it hasn't caught Alabama by surprise, but it's a good move by Steve Spurrier. Alabama now has to get active on defense to try to counteract this.
Bill Oliver said a funny thing this week on the phone, the defensive coordinator for Alabama. He said, you'd forget last week's formations. We won't see those this week. That's Steve Spurrier. Straight ahead in the handoff, and those 2 middle backers are right there on red. John Sellens and also Michael Rogers team up to make the hit. 90 and 52. And also you can see 94 John Copeland. the junior from Lynette, Alabama. Very tough player also.
Now what Alabama has been able to do, they've now rolled both their corners up to play a 2-deep coverage to take away the quick game. Now something over the middle for Florida might have a good opportunity to be successful in the passing game.
Well, Terrell Jackson, the tight end, is flexed out about 12 yards in the left. Over the middle, complete at the 25. Monty Duncan. Ball comes loose, and now here comes a flag, and nope, that's a balloon. Good heavens, somebody threw an orange balloon all the way from the end zone.
Sign him up as a quarterback.
That's a pretty good arm. You're right. And the ball recovered by Alabama. Pardon for the distraction. We're looking to see the flag, and meanwhile the fumble.
They went to the 2-deep coverage and opened up over the middle for Harrison Houston. Fumbled the football, a turnover. Alabama defense, you got to credit the defense in this ball game. They've been forcing turnovers. Both defenses trying to help the offenses by forcing turnovers.
Turnovers, 3 for each team. Kevin Turner brings it out in the vicinity of the 30-yard line, and Will White again will come up and make the stop.
You have to give a lot of credit to the Florida coaches. They saw something. They went to a 2 tight end offense. Then you look at the Alabama coaches up here. They make their move. And I tell you, Gene Stallings and Steve Spurrier, there's Ron Zook against Mal Moore. You've got a great coaching chess game going tonight.
Well, Alabama had some real good opportunities. Florida with their best of the night, and they turned the ball over.
You mentioned something earlier, the hard hitting. That's had a lot to do with these turnovers.
Yeah, it really has. Well, you could see it on that on the last play. I mean, that ball was not just given up because of lack of concentration.
Ron, you see Steve Spurrier here. He doesn't wear headsets. He calls the offensive plays, doesn't wear headsets. My contention is the reason he doesn't do that is because he doesn't want any distractions when he's calling the offensive play. John Reese, the former quarterback here, also works and he looks at coverages, then he gets the word down to another coach who gives it to Steve. But Steve Spurrier is one of the few head coaches I've seen will not wear it. They'll call the plays, but don't wear the earphones. Oh, look at here. Now he puts them on, but not when he's calling those plays.
Just over a minute and a half left. Gene Stallings checking. You can see the timeouts. Alabama has 1. Florida has 2. Turner will go for short yardage around the 35, now the 36-yard line. He's a senior from Prattville, Alabama. Mike Brandon, one of the first men there to make contact.
What if you're thinking, if you're the offensive coach of Alabama, I need to try to get down and get a field goal with 1:08 left on the board, but I don't want a turnover. We played poorly here offensively in the first half. I don't want to give Florida any more points and put my defense in bad position.
Looking, and Steve Bartley knocks the ball loose. Who's got it? Bama recovers. And let me tell you what I've just been told from the sideline. Woodson will not be able to play the rest of the night because of that injury to his elbow. So Barker, who is playing with a sore shoulder and just got roughed up again, had better be comfortable with what he's got because he's got to go.
Well, they dodged a bullet there on that fumble because that was just what I was talking about. Right now, if I'm Gene Stallings, 44 seconds on the board, I'm going to run a play and try to take this one to the house for halftime so I can get organized.
Florida stops the clock. It will be 3rd down. 44 seconds left until the halftime. Three to nothing. Florida leads Alabama with a 3rd down situation. And here's an update on Woodson. He will not play again this half. It will be evaluated at halftime whether he will be able to go in the second half. And quite frankly, I'm surprised they don't have him already in the locker room. So if nothing else, put ice on that and keep any swelling down that might occur. Chris Anderson, who had the 96-yard touchdown run last week, takes it to the 30-yard line, and Florida will call that last time out. They'll stop the clock with 36 seconds left. And Alabama, with the 4th down and long, will have to give the football back to them. Well, coming up at a halftime, the halftime report scores and highlights. Timmy B will be there with Lee Corso. Bring you up to date on what has happened today. And in case you have been far away and didn't hear, one of the big upsets, Michigan State fell to Central Michigan today. And out west, the co-national champion Colorado Buffaloes had a string of 11 straight at home broken as the Baylor Bears upset them in a very tight ball game.
It's a great thing about college athletics on any given Saturday. Florida right now will go on a 10-man rush with 36 seconds to go. Spent their last time out. They're going to try to put pressure on this punt, try to block it.
Florida works extremely hard on blocks. 4 games last year were swayed, I guess influenced or directly. In fact, they beat Alabama on a blocked punt. Special teams are excellent. He did a great job of getting that one away. He just sidestepped the man coming out into the block. Duncan will go down at the 36-yard line. 43 yards in the punt and 9 on the return. And 25 seconds left till halftime.
Watched Alabama's sideline. Against Florida, you have to really try to measure the personnel when they come off the sideline to see what they're coming in with. But with 25 seconds to go, Alabama's bringing in 7 DBs, 6 DBs.
8 of 17, 2 interceptions, 108 yards for that man, Shane Matthews. Got a man open over the middle, and the ball is tipped and then caught. Wow. Harrison Houston was juggling the ball as he looked up, saw the man coming up to make the hit on him, and still made the reception. That was George Teague.
Was a great pass reception under pressure. 3-man rush for Alabama. 7 DBs in the game.
Again over the middle, it's open and is complete to Sullivan, but he will fight it forward to the 29-yard line.
Shane Matthews needs to kill the clock. Once the clock starts, when they move the chains, just kill it to give his field goal kicker a chance to come on the field.
You see him getting set. They don't want a 5-yard penalty because that might push him out of range. This one is going to equal his longest distance anyway, and you see him stop it with 5 ticks left. So Krzyzewski, who had one a moment ago from 44, will get a chance to equal his career long of 47, I believe, on this one. With where the line of scrimmage is at the 32. Arden, we mentioned earlier, just after he kicked that one, 15 of 19 last year, very consistent, and this would be a new long if he hits it. It is a 48-yard attempt. He's got the distance. And he is good. It is halftime here at Florida Field. And Arden Krzyzewski has put his ball club up by 6 on field goals of 44 and now 48. Back at Florida Field and our score to halftime. There you see it. The Gators 6 and Alabama nothing. And Mike, in looking at the first half, I made mention of the second quarter that this is as hard a hitting football game as I've seen in a very, very long time. How about you?
Ron, you're right. Folks, if you like great defense, you got to enjoy this game. We're going to show you right here Shane Matthews. This is what he's seeing. 6 and 7 DBs by Alabama and forcing him into some bad throws. Late in the half, Florida went to a 2 tight end offense that helped them. On the other side of the ball, Alabama has been forced by the Florida defense into several turnovers, and they made a lot of mistakes. 6 fumbles. When you look at the stats, the key stat is fumbles lost. 3 fumbles lost by Alabama. They fumbled 6 times, and the rushing yardage by Florida, only 39 yards rushing. Great defensive first half.
Well, those numbers tell the story. Alabama having lost 3 fumbles in the first half, and of course that one that Florida lost very costly as they had driven the ball deep
into Crimson Tide territory. Ruland will kick it off for Florida. Again, it's David Palmer, number 2 for Alabama, back deep, standing at the goal line. This is going to come up short and will come down at the 10-yard line to Chris Anderson. Across the 25, and he gets collared, and I mean literally, at the 27-yard line. Good return is Leroy Jones, number 90, was downfield to hit him with the head high tackle. And as they break the huddle to open the second half, again, it will be number 7, Jay Barker, a freshman from Trussville, Alabama, who will open at quarterback, and now flags down all over the place. John Stevenson, and the right tackle position 3 times tonight now has cost penalty yardage to Alabama. You remember Roosevelt Patterson, who had come into the ball game back in the first half, number 77. But the kids are anxious, and Mike, when you're playing against this kind of hard-hitting defense, every quick step is an advantage. Barker takes the hit. McCoy comes in to finish him off. Hawk made the initial tackle on him.
I think, see, the first play Alabama opens up with is the option. They're going to try to get Jay Barker and Saran Stacy on the corner. Tim Polk, number 99, made the tackle. Again, it looked like they had problems with the fake to the fullback. Looks like the fullback's trying to grab a hold of the ball and not keeping his pocket wide open so Jay Barker can pull the ball.
Across the 30, and he's out to the 34-yard line. Now this brings up a 3rd down situation for Alabama. They'll need about 4 yards.
Alabama caught Florida playing pass. Linebackers get a little depth. They get the ball in the draw fake to Saran Stacy. Look at the block on the linebackers. I'll tell you, Saran Stacy's getting better as the game goes along. In the second quarter, I saw him picking it up a little bit also, and he didn't play last year, so all the experience helps him.
11 carries, 60 yards for him so far. Barker's pass is intercepted. It's Will White, and he had 3 last year in this same ball game.
Jay Barker was trying to go to Prince Wimbley. Will White read it all the way. Was able to pick off the interception. Trying to get the ball to Derek Warren. Had Prince Wimbley in the route. Good pressure by Culpepper. Mistake by the Alabama offense.
So the Gators with the first big break of the second half, and now 4 Alabama turnovers. They go with the draw play. Dexter McNabb inside the 25, and he will have a Florida first down at the 23. George Teague and Stacey Harrison, the 2 safeties for Alabama, coming up to make the stop.
Ron, you'd like to have your quarterbacks like Jay Barker and Danny Woodson have a little more experience, and you really would dislike breaking them in this kind of atmosphere. But this will be good experience for them. They'll grow from this.
McNabb is the only setback this time for Florida. Matthews gets it away for the end zone. It is caught by Traylor. Touchdown.
Watch 24 blue. Trey Everett runs a corner route against George Teague, but I'll tell you, this is going to be great concentration. But count that touchdown for the offensive line of Florida. They picked up the blitz.
Also, it was poor ball recognition on the part of Teague. He never really turned around until the ball got there. Gators go for 2. Matthews all day throws it complete. Alonzo Sullivan for the 2-point conversion. Voicing their approval in Gainesville.
ESPN's presentation of CFA football, Alabama versus Florida, is brought to you by Jeep. There's only one Jeep. By Rockports, all-terrain vehicles for your feet.
Rod Franklin and Mike Gottfried, along with Adrian Karsten, Florida field, and still another turnover by Alabama. This time it has cost them a touchdown. Palmer from the goal line. Crosses the 20. Still on his feet, and he will be stopped at the 34. Will White with the interception. I had a chance to talk with him yesterday because last year he had 3 against this same Crimson Tide team.
Well, basically, it was just one of those days that everything went right for me. You know, sometimes you just have those days that everything go right, and that definitely was one of those days. Bringing them down here, hopefully I can have a game such as, you know, last year, or hopefully get close to it.
And tonight, he has made another interception, 4 now in 2 games, as the pass completed to Prince Wimbley. White out to help on the tackle, along with number 3, Larry Kennedy. And that's going to be a gain of very close to 10.
Both defenses have forced the action on the offense, and Alabama's defense after the interception caught and just gave up that touchdown pass in man coverage. Ron Zook's just going to keep pressuring the young quarterbacks tonight. Blitzes from the inside, blitzes from the outside.
Wimbley now 3 catches for 34 yards. Saran Stacy. You can see a good lead block, and he is out to the 49, and let's go to Tim Brando.
Yeah, you're wondering who's going to take over for Robo quarterback against Penn State. Well, here he is, Reggie Perry to Yanni Jackson. Second drive of the game for the Trojans. They lead against Penn State. The 5th-ranked Nittany Lions down 7-0 in the first. Back to Ron, Mike, and Adrian.
Well, one thing that'll get you in a lot of trouble, and that is comparing scores in college football. But it is the type of year that Central Michigan today, 2 weeks ago, was Memphis State, who knocked off that same Southern Cal team. Saran Stacy with a good, tough, hard run to the 46. T. Bartley, who is, we're happy to report, okay and back on the field after almost knocking himself out in the second quarter, was there to make the tackle. Stacy now 12 carries, 68 yards. Rick Brown comes into the ball game. He is from Fort Worth, Texas. Wears number 82 for the Crimson Tide, wide receiver. Pitch to Stacy. Hit in the backfield, and on a second effort, Mike, I think he's going to have the first down. He was dead in the water as Polk was coming through, and also Harvey Thomas, and he got away from both of them.
Here's what Alabama's doing. You see the unbalanced line to the right with only 2 linemen. Florida adjusts on this play, but again, a nice run by Saran Stacy to get close and pick up the first down.
About to go under 11 minutes left to play in this third period as Florida struck early, taking advantage of the Will White interception. Derek Lassie will be caught at the line of scrimmage. Tony McCoy, a senior from Orlando, comes up big in the play. You know, it was very easy and very quick to understand that in talking with the Florida players the last couple of days, that Tony McCoy is very, very popular, and they think that his abilities are equal to some of the people who have just graduated this past year. And Florida lost some excellent defensive personnel. Huey Richardson for starters. They set up the reverse. Here it comes to Palmer. will be hit and dropped for the loss back at the 50-yard line. Del Spear stayed at home and then has a message. You can see Palmer with an elbow as he walked away.
Well, you run the unbalance, you run the toss, you run the toss, you run it 4 or 5 times, and all of a sudden you set the reverse up. David Palmer with good speed, but Del Spear, the corner on the side the reverse came, stayed at home and played it very well. Did not take the fake and did not try to over pursue. Stayed exactly where he was supposed to and made the play.
The name Spear has been prevalent here in Florida football circles for quite a while. Dell is a junior. His brother James played 86 through 1990. Barker, backside pressure. Fee Bartlett got there first. 2 Florida sacks.
Florida defense brought Fee Bartlett from the backside. Pressure again. 4 players from the backside are coming. It's very difficult. See all 4 coming. It's almost impossible to pick them up. Tight end Derek Warren tried to come off late, but the quickness of Fee Bartlett was there, and he made the play on Barker.
Williamson, his longest punt, 48 yards, in Florida, very close to blocking that one. As Duncan on the run breaks 1 tackle, but will not break the next. Great coverage with a Crimson Tide at the 30. 31 yards in the kick, 8 on the return.
Back at Florida Field, the Gators are at 14-0. Now let me give you a secret. Play right before it. Trey Everett comes back to the huddle and said, "Jason, listen to me. I can beat my man deep." SEC Player of the Year says, "All right, it's yours." He heaved a long one.
Okay, Adrian.
And Jason.
Sorry, we're having some problems with your mic. Part of your conversation as secret as that play. This is Rick. Breaks it for 5 and now close to 10. And the one thing that Mike talked about off the top of the telecast, as there is a mirage of sorts, but don't misunderstand. Steve Spurrier had rather run the football, and if he gets that going, then Alabama is going to have some tough puzzles to solve in the second half.
Well, he pressures on defense. Now the Alabama defense, this is a big series for them. They have to come up with something. They've got to cause a turnover.
They go on the ground again. Oh, what a hit in the backfield. Knocked down for absolutely nothing. Eric Curry there to make the defensive play. Here's Tim Brando.
Ron, Arizona's got the big play. George Malauulu, their quarterback, has a touchdown pass of 65 and now 85 yards. This one to David Lockhart. And Arizona, after the fake field goal, to take the lead by 4, now up 11. 28-17 over the Cardinals.
Tim, somehow that makes more sense because Stanford was supposedly starting the ball game tonight with 2 of their regulars in the secondary missing, and that play looked like it. Alabama shows blitz. They go the other way. Does Florida has the first down, and Rick is in the open field inside the 45 to the 44. Curry again defensively.
Back to the 2 tight end offense. This time, instead of running the counter with Eric Rhett, number 33, they ran the toss sweep. Watch the toss sweep. Here's the pitch. Now they don't come back to backside. Look at the lead block on a defensive back. And then just a great job of running by Eric Rhett. The running backs do a great job here in Florida's offense. They block, they run the ball well, and they're very good pass receivers.
Eric Rhett led the SEC in total rushing last year with 845 yards. He has 76 this evening. Flags go down, and the 25-second clock shows 00. And as you see Rhett trotting down the field, the quick hitter right there, he thought he was going to have a big
Delay
game.
of game, way to pass the ball on time, 5 yards offense.
Well, 85,069, Alabama and Florida. Tonight's game, it is a new state record. 83-67 was the previous record. That was against San Jose. The most ever to watch a football game in the state of Florida, college or pro. complete. Good coverage. The ball a tad high. Alonzo Sullivan is the man he wanted, but it was McMillan. All-American Junior College from Glendale Junior College was there defensively.
Sometimes you wonder how you get these delay of game penalties, but when offensively with Steve Spurrier, you're using so many formations. Sometimes they're just a little slow getting on the field, getting the play to the quarterback, then to the line of scrimmage when you're shifting so much personnel around, and that's what happened when they got the delay of game call.
6.5 minutes, Mike, left in this third quarter. It has gone very quickly, and the Gators have struck by way of a turnover. White with the interception, then they got the touchdown pass to Everett. Marker goes down. Pass is thrown to the tight end Charles Dean, and he is tackled at the line of scrimmage. Now let's see. The marker has been thrown deep in that right corner spot.
And his pass Dean flag.
Called it right in front of Gene Stallings too, so he's going to get an earful when he goes back to pick his flag up.
Jimmy Harper, I mentioned early on in the telecast, one of the veterans in college football, and particularly here in the SEC, and defensive holding. Boy, are you right. It was called right in front of Gene. I asked Jimmy Harper the tough things that they're confronted with.
The defensive backfield, the 10-yard automatic first down.
As you watch it, I'll continue this story because it should be self-explanatory, but I asked him what has become even tougher in college football, and he said the fact that we continue to get new calls that are purely our decision, at our discretion. And he said we've already got enough of those, and the fans, you know, just, he said, they're so big and so quick now. It's really tough.
I think he blew that call.
Rep goes for 12. Well, I disagree with you. I mean, unless they were doing the Texas two-step, that's holding. Let's go to Tim Brando.
Florida State, the neighbors of the Gators. Marquette Smith with an 11-yard touchdown run against Western Michigan. Fellas, best call in college football today by Lee Corso. He said they beat Western Michigan by 50 after what Central Michigan did to Michigan State. They get 2 weeks to prepare now for the Wolverines.
Florida State, boy, convincingly tonight. Draw play, rep. And another 10-yard gain. As the Florida running game continues to work on this series, George Teague comes up to make the stop.
When they hit that touchdown pass just a little bit ago, that opened up the running game. Here's a draw. Eric Ritt, number 33. Watch it just open up. Good block on John Sullins by the offensive guard. George Teague eventually makes the play after a long game.
Jim Rondell, 48-4.
Good look at that Florida offensive line. Mark White, Hisham Ismail, Cal Dixon, Jimmy Watson, and Tony Rowell. As the chain is stretched, and it's a Florida first down. Jim Watson is the only new face up there. The rest were starters last year. The other question mark was Rowell at right tackle, who underwent knee surgery after being hurt against Florida State, a game that we had last year. And you might remember the injury that he underwent, but that he suffered, I should say. Underwent major rehab, and he is back as a starter at right tackle. To roll the pocket, and he just throws this one away. Sullivan was the closest man to it. Mike, and in watching Matthews on that play right there, undoubtedly Steve Spurrier has said run it down as far as you can every time. Let's start taking some time off the clock, because he watched it until it was down to about 2 seconds.
I think he was checking off. I think he was changing the play. He brought his back over to the other side to try to help. So when Alabama has their problem with a 4-man rush backside, it's because a center or a back's not coming back that way to help. Florida just moved a man over to help on the blitz. This time he will go for only a couple as number 90, John Sullins, steps up into the hole.
The ball carriers, not by Sullins.
And the all-conference performer from last year, knocks him down hard. He's a senior from Oxford, Mississippi. I think he got a stinger on that elbow.
Here's John Sullins, a linebacker. He sees the draw coming. He has to attack the blocker, now come off and make the play.
Also, that's Michael Rogers, 52, who was at the bottom of the stack. He's a freshman from Laverne, Alabama. As you look at John.
When you get the running game going like this, it's very difficult to bring those extra DBs in now, because you really, now Florida's got the edge a little bit with their play calling.
Everett and Harrison Houston go wide to the left. And a timeout is called by Florida. The 25-second clock was down to 2. We'll go away for a moment. We'll be right back. Florida by a pair. 14-0. Florida leads. Be sure to be with us at 4 o'clock tomorrow for the final round of the Hardee's Golf Classic. That's played in Coal Valley, Illinois. And the leaders after 3 rounds, David Edwards by 1. He is 11 under par. Paul Azinger is at 10. And then Greg Norman, Steve Jones, and Steve Lowry, 2 off the pace at 9 under par. That's at 4 Eastern time tomorrow. The Hardee's Golf Classic. Matthews drills it. Touchdown, Florida. Willie Jackson. Krzyzewski knocks it through and let's take another look at it from the end zone.
Shane Matthews used 4 receivers. Not much of a route. He had a lot of time. He finds Willie Jackson on the post route. Watch him come into your screen. He's breaking off post right here. Wide open. Defensive back. Too far behind him. Antonio Langham is too far behind him.
Teague and Gene Stallings talking across the way. Now all of a sudden it is 21-0 with just over 4 minutes to play in the 3rd period. Hey, don't forget game day. Get your college football Saturday kicked off with a comprehensive look at the day's action. Chris Fowler and Lee Corso. That's at 11:30 Eastern time. And the next week here are the games. Kentucky and Indiana. Steve Fisiak and Gary Danielson will be there as the Hoosiers, led by Vaughn Dunbar, host Bill Curry's Kentucky Wildcats at 12:30 Eastern time. And then Mike and I will be in Austin, Texas next Saturday night, 7:30 Eastern, as the Auburn Tigers take on the Texas Longhorns. All next week right here on ESPN. And of course a great one on Thursday night. You saw the promo just a moment ago. It is Virginia and Georgia Tech. To Palmer at the goal line. At the 20 has a lane and then it closed up at the 25-yard line. Boy, it appeared for the world that he might have a big run back. Monty Duncan on the stop, and here's Tim Brando.
Back to Tucson we go. Stanford, Jason Columbus, he can put it in the air, but why not give it to J.J. Lastly? J.J. goes 14 yards. They go for 2 to the Cardinal, but they fail. It's 28-23, 5-point game midway through the 4th quarter.
Well, 51 points scored in that one. For those who thought this one would be a high-scoring affair, no way. But Florida has scored 2 touchdowns in the 3rd against a very tough Alabama defense. Palmer at the 30. And that will be the end of the way. He will pick up a couple as Will White, number 2, makes the stop. But when you see Palmer with the football, you can see why they want to get it to him at every occasion, because he's capable of taking a 2-yard pass 80 yards.
What's happened in the second half is Alabama, of course, the critical turnover they had. But Florida is just playing so good a defense on Alabama. Alabama's not threatening them at all down the football field.
Saran Stacy has 5 and 9 yards now. Carlton Miles will make the stop, but it'll be plenty enough for the Alabama first down. Coming up at the end of the ball game, the Visa players of the game. Mike and I will be choosing one from each team. Stacy now 15 carries, 80 yards for him.
What I meant by that statement, Ron, is that Alabama's had success running inside, but they haven't had anything where they've been able to throw the ball deep. I can't remember a pass where they've been able to put it down the football field to threaten Florida, keep them off the receivers.
Stacy, he can throw, and he does, back to his quarterback, Barker. And the tackle will be made at the 44-yard line. That is excellent read and defense by Florida. Del Spear again staying at home.
Well, you tried to reverse him. He was there. He stayed home. Now he tried to throw a pass, which was a good call by Mal Moore and Gene Stallings. Here it is, the toss sweep to Saran Stacy. Saran Stacy threw a touchdown pass last week. Now this week, he throws back to Jay Barker, the quarterback. But again, there's Del Spear. He did not leave where he was supposed to be.
Not only that, when he got there, he made just a perfect tackle as he locked it up. Second down, the line to make is the 49. Stacy off the right side of Steve Barkley, who was right there to knock him down, and no gain.
Coaches like to counter what they do from week to week. Last week, as I said, they pitched the ball to Saran Stacy. He ran to the right and threw a pass down in the corner. This week, they tried to throw back to the quarterback. Always, you know, the other team has your tapes and they have your film and they're watching and practice against your plays. Add another play for number 27, Saran Stacy. Just well defended by Florida. Fundamental football.
Stacy with the ball, and he will be stopped. Maybe a gain of 1 in the play. Also Brad Culpepper, and listen to this ovation for the Florida defense. Duncan will watch it bounce, and it will be touchdown at the 20-yard line.
Peter Garland team plays number 6 Long Beach State tonight at the championship match.
36 yards on that punt.
Tournament in Fullerton, California.
Now what about air ball offense, Mike?
It puts a lot of pressure on you by throwing the football, but again, I believe the run is the thing you have to stop when you stop Florida. Alabama tonight has played very good defense. They just haven't been able to get enough offense out to stay with Florida. Florida's a complete football team, strong on offense, strong on defense, and strong in special teams. Alabama has a young offense that will come along.
And you could see those numbers that Spurrier's clubs have racked up at both Duke and now coming down here to Alabama. Red hit in the backfield, and again, good defense. Jeremy Nunley, number 73. I guess the biggest point to make about that graphic that we saw just a moment ago, Mike, is the fact that not as many yards passing here in Florida, but if you look at the break offensively, passing and running, it's like 50-50.
Oh, it's even, dead even. And you get in some games, he likes balance. Every coach, if you ask them what they want to do, they want balance in their offense. But the team that runs wins. The team that has success running the football, you have to be able to run it.
This is McNabb. 5, 10, 15. I got to say officially 16 yards. And the man who is chiseled. He is built like a fullback should be built. Dexter McNabb at 6 feet, 238 pounds, and very little body fat. And that could be the last play of this third quarter as the clock ticks down now to 15 seconds. He has 3 carries for a total of 30.
The difference in this quarter and the other quarters is Florida's been able to run the football. They've kept substitutions off the field for Alabama, and they're just effectively running the football.
Four fingers go up, down on the field of play.
And if you're Florida, you've got to be breathing a little easier. But there's 15 more minutes to play. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Florida Field, and this a record-setting night. Largest crowd to ever see a football game, either college or pro, in the state of Florida. Over 85,000. And the home folks have enjoyed it so far as Florida leads 21-0 after 3. Eric Red again. Not much doing on this one. And right now, let's take a look at the Army storyline. Alabama, 4 turnovers, 3 fumbles. Matthews, 195 yards and 2 touchdowns, and the majority of that has come in the second half. Alabama never inside the 25-yard line. And the closest that they came to it, they turned the football over, Mike. Woodson went out with an injury. And the young freshman has played well to have to come in under these kind of conditions. Eric Red up the middle. Breaks it open. And there's a foot race. Caught from behind at the 16-yard line by McMillan.
Running backs for Florida just keep getting stronger. Eric Red, number 33, has played this entire game. Look at him break tackles. Mark McMillan has to run him down from behind. Boy, they're impressive. The 2 running backs, Rhett and McClendon. Here's another look. Watch the counter play. Comes backside, picks his hole, makes a cut, breaks a tackle, keeps his head up, sprints for the goal line. Look at Mark McMillan close with his speed.
Alabama with the player down on the near side of the field. And we are now being given the numbers that for Eric Red, 18 carries, 150 yards, and that is a career best for him. He led the SEC in rushing last year with 845. And in fact, with Willie McClendon hitting 613 yards, they were the best combo of running backs in the SEC as well.
They run the ball effectively. I mean, they're a good run game, and two things that we're talking about here: the good run game and the lack of depth for Alabama, which we'll talk about a little later, is playing a factor.
Tim Brando, what do you have for us?
Saturday the 14th, Ron and Mike, is the day of the fade. Gerback to Howard. Now it's Saka to Terry Smith, as the Nittany Lions have knotted the score against Southern California at 7. Back to Ron, Mike, and Adrian Karsten.
Thanks, Tim. Great story on Saka this morning on game day and the difficulties he and his head coach have had, but they obviously have solved it. Draw play this time to Clinton. He'll go for 1, maybe 2 to the 14-yard line. John Copeland is there defensively.
Ron was talking about earlier the fact that the depth problem Gene Stallings has. When he took over this team, there was a lack of depth and a lack of people to play, and it's evident when you have to play 12 freshmen. 12 freshmen played in a Temple game. It's going to take a while to get this program. They would have been my staff of the year last year for the job they did with the players that they had last year and the injuries that occurred. I just think they did an outstanding job last year, and they need to grow from this game. Florida's got them on the run.
Gators with a 21-0 lead with a 2nd down and 8 at the 14. McMahon, boy, he gets tagged at the line of scrimmage. Michael Rogers. Don't misunderstand one thing. We give credit both ways. Alabama is down 21-0, but defensively, this group of guys, they haven't turned the football over. They will really come up and pop you.
They're wearing down a little bit. Here you see Michael Rogers, number 52, take on the draw. Dexter McNabb. The running game of Florida has been the difference in the second half. Lack of depth for Alabama and the turnovers by the offense.
On 3rd down, pressure up the middle. Matthews throws complete inside the 5, and touchdown Willie Jackson, his 2nd.
Willie Jackson to score.
stopping him. You got to go to man coverage. Willie Jackson just beats Mark McMillan. One-on-one coverage, then is able to break the tackle, get to the corner for the score.
Arden Krzyzewski to attempt the extra point. Credit Dexter McNabb with a key block for his quarterback, and the extra point is good. One more look at it as Shane Matthews zips it to Jackson, and he breaks the tackle of Mark McMillan, and the reaction of the head coach. Steve Spurrier likes what he sees.
ESPN's presentation of CFA football, Alabama versus Florida, is brought to you by Chevy Trucks. More people are winning with the heartbeat of America. And by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light.
28-0. The Florida Gators on top of the Alabama Crimson Tide as Ryan Ruland will kick it off. Chris Anderson. And at the 25, is knocked out of bounds. Tim Brando.
Maryland and Syracuse. Really a critical intersectional game between the ACC and the Big East, Ron. Syracuse already leading 24-17. The game at Byrd Stadium. Here's the punt coming down to Shelby Hill. He will angle quickly for the sidelines, gets a nice block, and is set free. And look at this. A little bit of high stepping into the end zone. The Orangemen now lead the Terps 31-17 in the fourth.
Syracuse making some noise as Maryland had led in that ball game, but now all of a sudden they've scored 31 points. Barker's pass is blocked at the line of scrimmage. Number 98, Harvey Thomas, is the man who got a hand on it, and Brad Culpepper was also coming with some pressure, but it was Thomas who knocked it down. You know, Willie Jackson is working on some pretty good numbers tonight, because for his career, 4 catches, 56 yards, 3 touchdowns. He got 2 of those tonight.
He's had a good night. Jay Barker just got to get some good playing experience in this quarter. Check Danny Woodson's injury when they get back home.
Barker will be sacked. Harvey Thomas got to him first. That is 4 Florida sacks of Alabama quarterbacks.
The four-man rush again. Eddie Robinson, inside linebacker, is going to come free. Martin Houston picked up the outside tackle. That let Ed Robinson come free. Harvey Thomas joined in the sack. 6 people came on that blitz.
Kirkbride to gate 1.
Bill Gunter just came rushing on the field, replacing Thomas. I don't know if he got a Charlie horse or a muscle pull. Breaks off the tackle. Barker throws it complete over the middle. Martin Houston running hard, and he will have the first down, plus now about 10 yards. 35 yards in the pass play. And Jay Barker looked as though he was going to be sacked again back at the 10-yard line, and he came free.
Florida played pass coverage, ran a 4-2 defense, dropped people in coverage. Jay Barker was almost trapped, came out of it, smart enough, found Martin Houston. Martin Houston with good gain.
Tony McCoy almost had him behind the line of scrimmage. Kevin Turner, short yardage. Adrian Karsten has an update for us.
All right, Ron, now before you start laughing at me, Gatorade, as in Florida Gators, I'm telling you the truth. Meet Chris Patrick, the head trainer here. What was the inception of Gatorade all about? When did this happen?
It happened in the early to the mid-'60s. In fact, this is the 25th year, 21st anniversary of Gatorade being available to the public. It started out as an idea, a way to get people to get their fluids back in their system, and out of that evolved trying to take sweat and electrolytes and so forth and balance it up.
Ron Franklin.
Lawrence Hanks with the interception and another Alabama turnover to this Florida defense. And flags come in from all angles.
Intercepted by half. Right.
forced just a little too much, and you'll see right here, good coverage.
Lawrence Hatch, number 18, sitting on the streak route, just makes an over-the-shoulder catch.
And it looks like that's going to be face masking.
They pressure you and then pressure you into throws.
After the interception, it's first down. Blue.
Stepped off because of the infraction after the interception, and actually face masking was not called. It was a clip against Florida. So the new line of scrimmage is the 10-yard line, and we have 10-17 left to play in the ball game. There you see the numbers. Florida 28-0. And remember what we talked about off the top of the telecast, actually in the tease during the scoreboard show. Florida has never beaten Alabama in their home state. They are 0-8. But they got a pretty good start on it tonight. Will White, number 2 in the left part of your screen, had an interception tonight, which was key to turn things around in the second half. Of course, he had 3 last year against Alabama. By Stacey Harrison, and a programming note 2 weeks from tonight. This is what will be coming your way. Auburn at Tennessee. We will be in Knoxville. Next week it is Auburn and Texas. Then we head up to Knoxville, Tennessee for the 90+ thousand. Boy, they won a big one today impressively over a good UCLA team.
Punt block started it all off for them. They just really played well. We saw them against Louisville a couple weeks ago. They were playing well, and they played great defense today. Andy Kelly had a big day, and a big win for them against UCLA.
McClendon again. He gets the corner turn for the first down. They'll spot him out of bounds at the 23. George Teague and Byron Snead-Proctor making the stop. Steve Spurrier continues to signal the plays into the sideline. Always dons a visor when they play the games in the daytime, but not at night. He never wears that thing. Again, it's McClendon. First down plus 3, 4, 5 more. James Gregory, the backup for Robert Stewart at nose guard, sophomore from St. Louis, Missouri, is there to make the stop.
This is where depth becomes a problem in the fourth quarter. Willie McClendon, when you shuttle backs like Florida is able to do, you get a Willie McClendon who looks like he's really fresh right now. He has fresh legs. They're in a 2 tight end offense, and they're just going to run the football against Alabama.
You can hear the pads popping. He's going to have a couple as he comes back to the open side of the field this time. Michael Rogers, number 52, the freshman from Laverne. And the numbers on Shane, it got off to a shaky start, Mike, in the first half, but now 207 yards. A couple of touchdown passes and a couple of interceptions. 3 touchdown passes, actually. That's right. Trey Everett got one as well. Well, he was not in that frame of mind in the first half, was he?
Things settled down for him, and they were able to start running the football with success, which opened up the pass.
Red is shy of the 45-yard line. Gregory again there to make the stop.
I'm very impressed with the offensive line of Florida.
Well, I mentioned that Watson is the only new face up there.
3 pretty good football teams in this state.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if you win the state championship with Florida, you might have just a pretty doggone good shot at winning the national championship, wouldn't you?
Wow, I'll tell you what, you take Miami, Florida State, and Florida and play some football in this great state.
Hands it back to the quarterback, and he is going to go long. And it is caught. Harrison Houston took it away from the defensive back.
Hey, you run, pitch the ball, give it back to the quarterback. Look for Harrison Houston on a post. He's well covered by Stacey Harrison. Number one, ball just goes through his hands. Harrison Houston just concentrates, makes the catch. Here you see the pass coming down right through the hands of the Alabama player to Harrison Houston.
Brian Fox in at quarterback. Number 16, the junior from Orlando. Fumbles the snap and pitches it back to Rhett. He will turn the corner and is inside the 5 to the 3. Michael Rogers is there.
Led by Harrison.
Shane Matthews is okay. We were just checking. His head coach just wanted to see Brian Fox get some snaps in a ball game that they lead 28 to nothing. Fumble the second snap, and he'll make his own recovery. Well, when you have the luxury of having this kind of lead, no sense in taking a chance on getting your number one hurt and get your number two some experience.
Well, that's what happened to Alabama last year. Gary Hollingsworth played most of the time for Gene Stallings because they were having a good year and they went to the Fiesta Bowl. And Danny Woodson now and Jay Barker have to get their experience on the job during this season. So you like to get your quarterback some playing time like they are Fox right now.
Third down. Florida needs a yard and a half. Rhett, touchdown Gators.
Rhett to the score.
Side of the offensive line, give credit to and also Kelvin Randolph, sophomore from Tallahassee, with the lead block. He was in at fullback. Arden Krzyzewski to attempt the extra point. He has got it. He's perfect tonight. And with 5 minutes 36 seconds left to play on this one, Eric Rhett scores the touchdown, and the Florida Gators, ranked number 6 in the nation, go on top 35 to nothing. Saturday night, that's where Mike and I will be in Austin, Texas, the state capital, 7:30 Eastern time. Auburn against Texas. Florida was favored in this one, but I'm not sure anybody would have believed this kind of score with 5.5 minutes left to play in the ball game. This is Palmer. Palmer still on his feet and takes it out across the 30. Adrian Karsten, let's get an update from him.
Ron, let me tell you just how right you are about the quality of football players here in the state of Florida. No less than 89 players on the varsity roster across the field at the University of Florida. 21 of their 26 scholarship signees are from Florida. So where would you expect to find the SEC Player of the Year from? Mississippi.
There he is. His father played football at Ole Miss, in fact. Shane Matthews. Of course, he is out of Pascagoula, Mississippi, down on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. These are the all-time passing leaders for Florida. Kerwin Bell. And then John Reeves, who was in the booth right to the left of us. Wayne Peace, Steve Spurrier, 4,848, and Shane Matthews. He's got a pretty good start, Mike, with this entire season and next year coming up. 34-76. Good stats tonight with 251. Tonight for Florida. Culpepper and Brandon this time.
There's two good reasons why you recruit in Florida. Number one is there's a lot of players, and then when you're coaching in the northern schools, you want to get out of that weather and come on down and recruit them. And there's just so many players in the South. When you look at Florida State, Florida, and Miami, that just helps high school football when they're playing so well also.
The state of Florida is sending an amazing number of kids into Division I football now. Flag comes down. Barker will rush it out to the 40-yard line, and if I didn't know better, I thought I heard Gene Stallings say, please get to the ground. We don't need a second quarterback injured tonight. He already lost Woodson, an injury just below his elbow in the right arm.
Offensive line, 10 yards, spot a foul.
Here's John Reeves.
Gene Stallings' thoughts are on next week. As he stands on the sideline, his staff now starts to contemplate the moves they have to make and what they have to work on for next week's game. This has been a learning experience, and we've got to get better, and that's exactly what he'll tell his team in the dressing room after the game. They played hard. They just made so many mistakes. They made too many mistakes to overcome. And this man's team, Steve Spurrier, he has an outstanding football team.
Florida was not devoid of mistakes in the first half, but they really cleaned them up in the second half. Almost error-free. You can hear the groan of the crowd as Barker really takes a shot from Tim Paulk. Number 99. And the punting unit comes on again. 4:03 left to play in this ball game. Jake Williamson has been a busy man tonight. He's done a very good job. Duncan on the run at the 40, 45, and goes to midfield. So let's take a break. 3:37 left to play. It is Florida 35, Alabama nothing.
The University of Florida Gators and myself are committed to being the best we can be. Pick and Save is also committed to being the best. So we've teamed up to introduce my new sportswear collection, a terrific new line of all cotton activewear, shirts, shorts, sweats, even caps that combine comfort, fashion, and style at affordable prices. Now that's a winning team. The Steve Spurrier Signature Collection exclusively at your neighborhood Pick and Save.
We're back with just over 3.5 minutes to play in this ball game at Florida Field. 35-0. The Gators, number 6 ranked over Alabama. Brian Fox with a handoff to Kelvin Randolph, and Michael Rogers there to make the stop. Back to Tim Brando, and he has another update for us.
All right, fellas, thank you very much. Maryland coach Joe Krivak is a Syracuse alum. He lost to Syracuse tonight, 31-17, the final of that game. Auburn, Pat Dye, in his 200th game as a head coach, beats Mississippi 23-13. And with only a second left in the half, now it is halftime. USC leading Penn State 14-7. We'd like to welcome those of you that have been watching those games to tell you that Chris Fowler and Lee Corso will have the scores of all the games coming up immediately after Florida and Alabama.
Thanks, Tim. Interesting score. Mississippi had only given up a couple of field goals. And tonight, Auburn scores 23 and wins by 10 of it. Convincing win. We have Auburn next week against the Texas Longhorns out in Austin. As McNabb is knocked down for a loss, and again, Michael Rogers. We have called number 52 many times tonight. He's done a good job. Oden never came back into the ball game after he injured an ankle, and they wrapped it Rogers got a chance to come in, only a freshman from Laverne, Alabama, 6'1", 220. And to go a little further on the point that Mike made, that this is one that Alabama, the only thing you can do, you just draw a lot of experience from it. And some young players who have not played get an opportunity to take snaps. And there you see the difference in this ball game. Florida, 172 second-half yards. Dexter McNabb. It'll bring up a fourth down and about 7 yards to get the first. And the punting unit will come on for Florida. Atlanta, big win today in the National League West. Punt formation, and Florida will let the clock go down and get the 5-yard penalty if it happens. There's the whistle. And checking back at the record books for you trivia buffs, the first time that Florida has ever shut out Alabama. And also, it's the first time that Bama has lost by 35 points or more since a 35-0 loss to Georgia back in 1948.
Alabama's had such a tradition-rich football program.
Edges kick end over end. And the Visa players of the game for the University of Alabama is Saran Stacy. Stacy tonight with 17 carries for 80 yards. And for the University of Florida, it is Eric Redd. What a night for him. 170 yards. That is a career high for him. And as part of their continuing effort to further the development of amateur athletics, Visa is proud to donate $1,000 to the U.S. Olympic team on behalf of these athletes. Barker with the mix-up. Now under a minute to play.
Culpepper still in on defense. Made the play.
Culpepper now coming out of the ball game. We mentioned off the top of the telecast, he is a third-generation athlete here at the University of Florida. Grandfather and his father both played here. Barker's pass delivered incomplete. Probably the most important thing also about Culpepper, besides the fact that he was a co-captain and a leader, he is about to be, for the 4th time, on the honor roll in the SEC All-Academic. He also is the vice president of the student body. His father was president of the student body when he was in school here on campus at Florida.
Well, Brad Culpepper and that whole defensive line has just put so much pressure on the Alabama quarterbacks tonight. They never really had a chance to set up.
The Residence NCFA scoreboard coming up next. You can see some of the highlights of what we will look at. Pass complete over the middle to the 30-yard line to Kevin Lee, sophomore from Mobile. And that could be the final play of the ball game as Shane Matthews looks on. He has to be pleased, not necessarily with the first half. I'm sure he would be the first to say that the first half was not something he'd like to write home about. But he really righted himself in the second half. Scavella makes the interception. So let's take a break. This one is final. The Florida Gators 35-0.
team. We knew if we could just keep it close in the first half, the second half, and the fourth quarter is going to be ours. So I think the offensive line, they went out there and did a super job. Kyle Dixon had a super game along with the entire offensive line. And the defense is just all over Saran Stacy every time he got the ball. I mean, so they went out there and did a super job also.
First and 10 now for Shane Matthews. Fakes to the tailback and throws the ball deep down the field to a streaking Trey Everett. Makes the catch. Touchdown!
Welcome to Florida Football with Steve Spurrier. Today's show is brought to you by Dairy Farmers Incorporated, producers of milk. It does a body good. By First Union Service. We guarantee it. By Osmos and Great Southern Wood, the most trusted name in wood preserving. By Golden Flake. One taste, and you're stuck on Golden Flake. And by Chevrolet and your Florida Chevrolet dealers.
For the second week in a row, Florida flexes its muscles, and Saturday night the Gators open the SEC schedule with a 35-0 shutout win over Alabama. Hi again, everybody. I'm Mick Hubert, along with head coach Steve Spurrier. Welcome to Florida Football Highlights. Coach, congratulations. A nail-biter early, but a big win at the end.
Well, it certainly was, Mick, and extremely proud of our team. We played with maximum effort the entire game. So many players played their hearts out for the Gators last night, and we're really proud of them. I want to say also, Mick, that we dedicated this game to the senior Gators. A group of Gators called the Golden Gators. You have to be, I think, over 70 years old to be in this group. But a lot of them were at the first game ever at Florida Field when Alabama came in and beat us 20-0. So to beat Alabama, a team that has won more national championships, more SEC championships than any other school, that was very special for all of us Gators. But we dedicated it to the senior citizen Gators to maybe, hey, the Gators are on top for a little bit right now anyway.
Last year's win at Tuscaloosa was such a big one, but last night's win was equally as big, 85,000 on hand in the SEC opener, and a total domination, particularly by your team in the second half.
Mick, we certainly were excited in the locker room after the game, but not quite as big as at Alabama last year, because that was a key game that we needed to beat a quality opponent. Our players, I think, now really believe we are good enough if we play hard the entire game. And the way the game progressed, we really struggled offensively the first 25 minutes of the half there, and finally got a few little drives going, but our defense was so sensational. They kept us in the game. Brad Culpepper may have had the game of his life. He was just super there last night. But to see our team get stronger and stronger as the game progressed and to end up having a big victory was really encouraging for us. You know, that's the way Alabama used to play. They used to start slow and do things not very well early, and then their momentum would finally take over. So hopefully we're developing into a team that gets stronger as the game progresses.
So if your heart was in your throat at the halftime, only 6-0, the Gators came out strong with 29 second-half points and went on to the big 35-0 victory. We'll see the highlights now, and the Gators have the ball here.
Ooh. That's not a very good play there.
Looked bad there.
Well, what happened? We missed the protection up front. I think one of our linemen thought he heard one protection instead of the other, and we turned the nose guard loose. But as you can see, our defense is ready to play. Tony McCoy, Myrick Anderson getting his first start ever as a Gator. He played a fine game out there at the outside linebacker position.
So the defense dominating early, a scoreless first period.
Right. This was the draw play, and again, Brad Culpepper. Brad recovered, fumble, made the key play on 4th and 1 early in the game there and got several sacks. Here we are trying to throw a deep one. Trey Everett runs right through 3 guys, makes the catch, bounces free. A little bit reminiscent of last year when Ernie Mills got behind him. I think we come right back and throw an interception, though.
Again, each team did have 2 turnovers in the first quarter until the Gators finally got rolling.
Right, here's a play that, as you can see, does not look very good. I was trying to get Shane to look to the other side, but he did make a touchdown-saving tackle right there. So I tell you, Shane struggled early in the game, but he bounced back and sort of regrouped himself and played sensational the rest of the way.
Here was the threat that Woodson brought to the game, that scrambling ability.
Sure, he sure does, and we've got to do a little bit better job of keeping the quarterback in the pocket. As you can see here, Stacy dropped the pitch, and we alertly got on it. I think Harvey Thomas might have been in on that one.
Their first look at the option, and they fumbled it. We've been worried about that option, and it never really hurt us at all.
Well, not too much at all. This was a 3rd and 1 right here. Now, this was reminiscent of last year. We missed a 3rd and 1 and missed a 4th and 1 also at Alabama. But watch Brad Culpepper. As you can see, they got us outflanked. We got a guy out of position. If he could have got around the corner there, they'd easily made that one. But Brad knifed through and just made a sensational tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
We'll take another look at this play, Coach.
And Brad is so quick up there that if he gets a jump on the lineman and the play's going the way he's angling, he's almost impossible to stop. Okay, here we are. I think this is the first 3rd down we converted. Willie McClendon in the backfield, and he gets open, and we make about 12, 13 yards there. We probably should have pounded at him a little bit more like we did the second half. It seemed to open things up for us. Here's another scramble play. We happened to make some yards on this one. I think both of Shane's interceptions came on scrambles plays. Here's Arden Krzyzewski, and what a night he had. As you can see, this one is right through the center of the goal post. And then right before half here, he'll kick another field goal for the only points in the first half.
Gators leading 3-0 at this point, and watch this play here now as the Gator defense again responds and Alabama turns it over.
Okay, this was a big hit by Fee Bartley. As we all know, Fee, when he comes off that Gator linebacker position, he can really hit some guys, and he gets Stacy there right on the ball, causes the fumble. I believe they recovered it, though. Yeah, one of their big linemen was able to get on it.
They can't move the ball on the ground, and they can't move it through the air here.
No, we blitzed them, and we played back a little bit. It seems like the blitz is what we do best in pass defense. Will White got his interception off the blitz, and here we are right before half. I thought this was Harrison Houston making a nice bobbling catch, but he held on and got about 18 yards for us. Here goes Alonzo Sullivan, the exact same play, and we went backwards, but he realized to get back forward there, and then in comes Arden. This was a big emotional lift for us after struggling almost the entire half to make a couple first downs in a row and get that field goal right before half. I know our crowd really got excited after that one.
The last play of the half, Krzyzewski's career-long 48-yard field goal sent the Gators to the locker room, happy bunch, leading by a score of 6-0. We'll come back and continue with second half highlights and more of our program in just a moment. Certainly a lot of highlights in last night's game, but the excitement really started in pregame ceremonies when the University of Florida was made an honorary member of the National Heisman Trophy Club, celebrating the 25th anniversary of Steve Spurrier's award-winning season, as we see in this edition of Inside Gator Football.
If you were to ask Gator fans what single event put Florida football on the national map, most would point to the 1966 season when the quarterback by the name of Steve Spurrier became the 32nd recipient of the Heisman Trophy. 25 years ago saw a tight battle for the Heisman between a pair of quarterbacks, Bob Griese of Purdue and the Gator Steve Spurrier. Norm Carlson, assistant AD for communications, was the sports information director back then and recalls the game that made the difference.
There's no question it was the Auburn game because the timing of it, the ballots on the Heisman had gone out the week before and were due back the week after. There was media from all over the country, the New York Times, Los Angeles, Washington. Here, he had the best game of his career. I think he passed for 359 yards. He punted 7 times for a 47-yard average and kicked a 40-yard field goal with seconds remaining to win the game 30-27 and keep us unbeaten.
In a lighter moment during the Alabama week of practice, some of the players who weren't even born when Coach Spurrier won the Heisman Trophy had a chance to see him in action under center running the 2-minute drill. After completing 4 of 4, he moved the offense into field goal range. If he only had that square-toed kicking shoe he had 25 years ago.
The University of Florida holds a special place in Heisman history thanks to the
Before Saturday's game, the University of Florida was recognized as a charter member of the National Heisman Trophy Club, commemorating the winner of 25 years ago, Steve Spurrier. For Inside Gator Football, I'm Steve Babbitt.
Steve, congratulations again. 25 years, how quickly time has passed, huh?
Yeah, y'all had to dig way back in the archives for that tape. But not only did I need a square toe, I needed that big tee. We used to tee it up real high, you know, and able to get it airborne. It was, the other day, it was like trying to hit a driver out of a divot, it seemed like, Mick.
And the University of Florida, one of 8 schools to be inducted now to the Heisman Trophy Club nationally, as it's an honor that's starting this season.
Right. They're going, I think, to all the universities that have Heisman winners, and it's real nice to be associated with that group. They're an outstanding group of men up there, and I enjoy going up each year and being around the former Heisman winners, and we sort of have a little fraternity group, guys, and it's always fun to see them once or twice a year.
It's 6-0 Gators at the half, and we'll come back and take a look at second half highlights after these words from the University of Florida.
Now here's the latest news from the University of Florida.
In the new film Doc Hollywood, Michael J. Fox plays a big city doctor who's headed for a lucrative practice in California, but winds up in a small southern town instead.
We are prepared to offer you a permanent position as medical practitioner supreme here in the greater Grady metropolitan area and squash capital of the South.
That's the movies.
Can you take a deep breath for me? Go.
This is real life. A family doctor seeing patients in a rural setting.
That's good enough.
The problem is too few doctors are choosing to practice in rural areas. So rural residents often don't get help until their medical problems become serious and more expensive.
If you don't do the less expensive primary care of health promotion, disease prevention, then you pay the much higher price of providing tertiary care at a later time.
With the help of a federal grant, the University of Florida College of Medicine will place all of its first-year medical students in rural clinics throughout North Florida for a 3-week hands-on experience.
We hope that by introducing primary care experiences early on, that students will be more motivated to enter that field.
University officials say rural medicine is a challenge, but with the right encouragement, they believe more future doctors will choose to practice where they are so badly needed.
Making a world of difference. The University of Florida.
Leading 6-0 going into the third quarter, and that field goal had to have been a big momentum builder because you came out with a lot of emotion to start that third quarter.
I think it was, Mick. I think it sort of demoralized Alabama a little bit, especially Will White's interception and then Trey Everett's touchdown right quickly there at the start of the second half. But really at halftime, we felt pretty good about the way our guys were playing. Offensively, we'd really struggled, and if we kept after them, though, we felt like maybe we could make some first downs and make some points. Now, we didn't have any idea we were going to get 35 before the night was over, but the way our defense was playing, we felt like maybe anywhere around 10 to 17 might be good enough, and certainly it was.
So the Gators leading by a score of 6-0 in the first half, and coming out and getting 29 points in the second half. We'll pick up the action now in the third quarter. The Gators coming out and, as we mentioned, starting strong in the third period and getting the defense to get rolling, and then the offense putting the points on the board first. We'll take a look at the Alabama to start.
Right. Here we are blitzing, and Will White gets his first interception of the year. Wouldn't be right if Will didn't get one against Alabama. That's his 4th one in 2 years against them. Very nice play by Will. He had his man covered and then broke on the quarterback. Just an outstanding play right there by Will White. And here's the draw play to Dexter McNabb. As you see, broke over left guard. Play was called over right. And then the next play, we get Trey Everett one-on-one, almost like last week. Shane audibles, gets hit after he throws, but makes a beautiful throw. And Trey hauls it in for his first touchdown of the year.
And less than 2 minutes, 12-0, and you go for 2.
Yeah, got to go for 2. Try to get to 14, and Shane was patient. Alonzo just sort of worked his way open in the end zone there. That was one of those plays, go down the end zone and get open somewhere. Here's the reverse to David Palmer. Our defensive coaches had a super week game planning for Alabama. We figured that number 2, Palmer, would get some reverses. He's an excellent kick returner, and our cover teams did a fantastic job all night bottling him up. Here's another sack. Harvey Thomas there, Mike Brandon, Tony McCoy. They met in the backfield there. Here's a 3rd and 5 big play with Eric Rett breaking off tackle. And Eric has developed into maybe the best back in the conference, Mick. He had 170 yards against the number 1 defense in the conference, number 3 in the nation last night. So give Eric credit and give credit to our offensive line for just one of the best performances in a long time at Florida Field.
Here's 3rd down and 7 from the 13-yard line coming up.
Okay, we put this play in pretty much for Alabama's defense, so the way they play, and Willie Jackson. Willie doesn't catch a lot of passes, but most of them for touchdowns. So he ran a beautiful route. Shane threw it in the opening, and that was a big one there to get up to 21-0.
First of 3 long Gator scoring drives. That was a 70-yard drive in 10 plays there.
Right. Here's this little cutback play that seemed to really work most of the night. It was a combination of just outstanding running by Eric and fine blocking up front. But as you can see, he broke some tackles in the secondary there and made the big run.
We'll hear Eric Rett's comments about this play coming up a little bit later on. And another angle, and Eric said he thought he might have been able to take it all the way, but he felt his legs just cramping a little bit.
Well, that's a good way of saying he's not a 4-4 guy. And those guys chasing him, I think, run at least 4-4, 4-5. But Eric is an outstanding back, and they had a little bit of angle on him. Here's the touchdown to Willie Jackson. What an effort that was. He had a small defensive back there, hit him on the 4-yard line, as we see here on the replay. Look at this. And Willie just carries him into the end zone. Keeps his knee off the ground. Look at him lunge the ball in there.
7 plays and 79 yards, and the Gators lead 28-0.
Okay, I think it's time for our defense to take back over a little bit here. Here's Harvey Thomas knocking it down, and Brad Culpepper almost intercepted. We're going to teach Brad to try to sprint through those interception opportunities. He made a leap there that didn't quite work. Here's Lawrence Hatch getting his first interception as a Gator. We started Lawrence Hatch and Larry Kennedy at the defensive corners, and Dale Spirit free safety. As you can see, Coach Zook, our defensive coordinator, loses his emotion there for a moment. Looks like some high school coach out there, doesn't it?
Yeah. Another look at the Hatch interception.
No, that's fine. Coach Zook produced his first shutout ever as Gator defensive coordinator, and they did have an outstanding plan. All the defensive coaches had an excellent week preparation-wise. Willie McClendon rips off a 10, 11-yard gain there. I tell you, he is an outstanding back. He and Dexter McNabb and Eric Rett give us 3 of the best backs in the conference, and it's just difficult for all of them to get to carry it a lot of times. Here's a little hand-back, throwback pass that we hit against Georgia last year for a touchdown. And Harrison Houston just out-wrestled 2 of those Bama players for the ball. Just, I thought it was going to be intercepted, but Harrison came away with it somehow. Here we are down on about the 3-4 yard line, and we run a little sweep here.
3rd and 1.
Right, a little sweep play. Kelvin Randolph, excellent block. Dexter Smith helped lead us into the end zone there.
That was a 90-yard drive in 10 plays.
Okay, here's our defense at work again. Blitz, fake blitz. Seemed to really keep him off balance. Brad Culpepper, another sack. William Nasty Gaines was in there. Here's the offensive line. And ball game's over, and big win for all Gators. I think it's just nice. Always nice to do something that's never been done before, and to finally beat Alabama was really special, because, see, we don't play them but once every 7 years now with the realignment of the conference. So we just had one shot to get them there last night. They may not come here for another 14 years, something like that, so it was nice.
I believe the Gator defense never allowed Alabama inside the 25-yard line last night. Gators winning 35-0. We'll hear from the victorious players in just a moment. Going into the Alabama game, both the players and coaches felt it would take a total team effort to earn a victory. After the game, players from both sides of the ball felt they rose to the occasion during crucial moments in the game.
Of course, it's the last play of the half, and it can go either way. If I miss the field goal, guys can go with their head down. But I think it really brought the team up. It motivated some of the guys to try hard, and, you know, it's a team battle. And I think going in with such a positive note, we came back out and really fought hard in the second half.
The way we drew it up in practice and how we've been doing it all week, it was this particular situation I went in. Alonzo bumped his shoulder up, and I was right there. So that's why we practice more than once, so that everyone's ready to go in.
Well, we've been hearing all week about, you know, our offense against their #1 defense, and we had made a goal at the beginning of the year to outplay every other team's defense. And this one was really important because Alabama, you know, we were #1 last year the whole season until the last game, and they eclipsed us and went on ahead of us. And we wanted to prove to everyone that, you know, Florida's got this recent tradition of outstanding defenses, and we wanted to prove it on national television, and we did that. It was a big goal to us. Our offense sputtered a bit. At halftime we came in, and I said, guys, hey, you know, 6 points is fine because that's all we need to win, but, you know, it'd be nice to have a few more, and they went out and did it second half.
We went into tech formation, which what is called like with 2 tight ends. Really had to do that because they came out with so many different formations. We really didn't know what to do. But that play always started when against LSU. We used it and we scored a touchdown on it. And so we decided to do it again. And I was surprised it worked, but we started doing it 2 or 3 times in a row. So that's a pretty good play.
Big game for Eric Red and all the Gators, and congratulations, Coach. And now it's on to Syracuse inside against the Orangemen.
That's right, Mick. We've only got 1 AstroTurf game this year, 1 dome game, but we'll put on our sneakers and go up there and get ready to play them. Syracuse is an outstanding team. They won the Aloha Bowl last year, 28-0 over Arizona, I believe, and they're going to be ready for us. It's a big opportunity for them to try to knock off a Southeastern Conference school. So I think it's a national TV game also, so we're looking forward to going up there in the Carrier Dome. Hopefully we'll play well.
National TV 3:30, Gator Radio Network at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll have highlights next week. That's our show. Thanks for watching. For Coach Steve Spurrier, I'm Mick Hubert. So long, everybody.
National Car Rental is the official car rental of the Florida Gators. For reservations, call 1-800-CAR-RENT.
I hope you've enjoyed today's show. I'd like to thank our loyal sponsors who've made this show possible. Dairy Farmers Incorporated, First Union, Great Southern Wood, Golden Flake, and Chevrolet. I hope you'll join us the next time for Florida football.